Creswell doesn't seem to be letting Michael Voss get too much daylight between them, so he might have a tagging role today.
Bolton towards the line. Jim Malloy was strong there, just got rid of his opponent, and then with a probing kick inside the 50, Matthews, and now Dunkley to Crouch. The hands had to be good. Saddington didn't take it, and Power does and kicks a goal, the first of the match.
Well done by Richard Champion there, I think it was, coming in from left of screen. Just put enough pressure on Jason Saddington just to worry him out of the contest there a bit. Andrew Dunkley's attacked the ball very well early on, and it looks like the plan for Andrew Dunkley on Alistair Lynch, as I said, with the chronic fatigue, will be to try and run him around and run him up the ground. But that's a good finish and a good start to the Brisbane Lions.
He's almost taken McRae's spot this year in terms of kicking goals, pal. I mean, McRae's still out there, sure, but there's Champion, who defends well as in a forward position, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's sort of a negative type forward. I think he plays a crucial role. He gives a very good contest and won't have big stats at the end of the day, but still can have an input.
So, first goal to the Lions. Voss out of the centre. Wolf read that pretty well. He'd be anxious. He's missed the last three. He was a very good player a couple of seasons back. Maxfield back to Wolf. They've gone very wide. Wolf inside 50. He's got fair distance on the left. At the back, Armat running hard. Will Goods leave it for him? Does it beautifully, and kicks a goal. Well, there might be a whole lot of people here, but they do make a noise when the Swans score, don't they?
It's certainly just what they needed, a quick answer. We certainly don't want Brisbane getting off to too good a start here. And we've seen him do some incredible things this year. He's wonderfully skilled footballer, Adam Goods.
I'll tell you what happened there too, Plugger. Justin Leppich left his man, which was Adam Goods, ran to the contest about 20 metres away, missed the hit. The ball didn't go forward, it went behind, and Adam Goods was able to kick an easy goal.
I think he might be their best bet at full forward, Goods. I really do, certainly in the short term. He's the one-man plugger capable of kicking 6 or 7.
I think so, Bruce, and it'd be good to see him settle there for the day and just see how he does go.
McDonald and Stafford. Looks like that's going to be a pretty interesting duel. Creswell out of the centre. It's where the Bulldogs beat them so easily out of that centre. Armat just over... O'Loughlin, I should say, overran it. That doesn't happen too often. Johnson's kicks a beauty to Power deep at centre wing. Looks like Crouch has got the job on Power. Power goes to half forward, and, well, I would have paid that in the front spot. That was Marcus Picken. Malloy's got a strong body, hasn't he? Handball over the top. Comes back to... Black, they get it back to Champion via Lambert, and Champion boots to about half forward. Well done by Leo Barry, building away. Hardy did a terrific job on Woden Monday night. Slick hands, Power important early. Little kick, rubs it a bit. Johnson hasn't taken it cleanly. Goes to ground, gets back. He's gone now. He had a fair while. Play on call, Creswell. Back to Barry. Poor kick, actually. They might be in trouble. Luff, McDonald, good job. He held them up, and then Hart belts it to about 30 metres. Dunkley will mark that.
Bruce Wolf involved for the Swans a couple of times early. He actually started on the bench, and Nick Fosdyke came off in the first minute of the game. So they're just getting their matchup sorted down here, and we should be right.
Thanks for that, Nick. So that's interesting stuff that Wolf quickly got back on.
Been a frantic start too, and I guess you'd expect that from teams that are really fighting for their survival this year. And the weather, 19 degrees, not a bad day out here today.
McDonald building away, going to ground there. Matthews, we've seen that a lot. Lynch attacking hard after McRae belted it off the ground, and a boundary throw in. Been good, Lynch. I mean, it's a real shame what's happened to him, because he's such a great footballer and talent. He's kicked 24 goals in his 8 games, so it's not a bad return.
Well, it's amazing for a guy that's playing at stages over the last 5 years, 50 to 60% fit. It's just a phenomenal effort from Lynchy.
It sure is. Pushing forward to Malloy. It came from McDonald. Wharf to Creswell. Good play to Schwartz. He would really love a big one today. And the kick to Luff is a good one. I said last week they looked sharp early, the Swans. I mightn't go quite so early this week.
Just the doctor's running out to Andrew Dunkley too, Bruce, so he's just a bit lame, hobbling around a little bit there, so it'd be interesting to see the result of that.
Kennedy. Oh, very good smother coming from John Stevens. Barry to Saddington. Maxwell's a left foot, he's got the pace. Surely he'll go, and Stewie does.
Yeah, there's Andrew Dunkley, Pluggy, you mentioned, in the hands of the trainers down there. And looks to be a knee, maybe just a knock on the knee sometimes that they can really sting the old belt in the knee, and you only have to ask Paul Kelly about that. But there it is there, the collision there, looks like with Jared Malloy, was it? He's certainly going straight to ground, Plugger, and it doesn't look all that flush at the moment, so although he is getting back into position onto Alistair Lynch.
So the Swans have replied here with a couple. Maxwell kicked 19 goals last year. There's Dunkley. He hasn't had a lot of on-field time this year in the early matches, but he's looked in reasonably good form. Hart to Lappin. It's been pretty good Lappin this year. And Lappin's kick is a good long one. Lynch made a real effort. This will test Dunkley again. He's onto it okay. So that's a good sign to Matthews. Matthews is left-footed. Creswell running hard. And Stevens. A ricochets off Stevens. He may get a second go. Creswell held up by Lappin. Gets it to Stafford. Stafford picked that up beautifully. Hooks it around the body to half forward. Ball and Kennedy were together. Seddington moving onto it. Ackermanis. Good hands to Lambert. Down low. Gets it wide. Champion's got it at the half back. Stops. Props. He's in a bit of trouble, and he's gone, I think. He just hesitated, didn't he?
He just didn't have anyone to give it to. You will see Richard Champion playing a long way up the ground for a half forward. That's his role.
Stevens to Goods and Lepich. I am looking forward to that. If belting it forward was Bolton. White, who's so good, he was on one knee and one at the end there and got it to Kennedy. I know you like Kennedy, Plugger. You reckon he can go a bit, don't you?
Yeah, he's a very underrated player, and I reckon he was very stiff not to make the All-Australian side last year.
Well, that's good form then. Creswell. Crouch, Creswell to O'Loughlin, to Crouch. This is exciting stuff at the moment. Banging hard and long. Ball, he's got it. Well, he took some very good marks earlier this season. I think it was against Richmond, where he made a real impact at the start of a game and didn't quite finish it off. And he's got a chance here to post an early goal.
This is a great mark. He's just worked Jason Lepich just under the ball enough for him to reach up and grab that. A terrific mark from Jason Ball. Good for him to finish it off here on a good note. He's missed it. That's a disappointing miss.
It was against Geelong on the Saturday night where he got 4 goals. But yeah, that's a bad miss, isn't it?
He really presented himself in that game against Geelong. The last couple of weeks his form's been a bit down, but he is a crucial player for the Swans because he does make them straighten it up rather than going to the flanks, and he does make them kick the ball long, which is very much what the Swans haven't been doing. They're tending to kick the ball a lot shorter. Lepich, he did kick 48 goals ball in 1 year for West Coast. That's a pretty good return. Voss to Lambert, sweeping handball cut off. Stafford in close, well done by Chris Johnson. Back to Lappin, stops and props a bit, and he doesn't want to waste it. Neat kick to Malloy. Malloy very deep for the moment. He's a bustling player, Malloy, isn't he? At times he can be mercurial, exciting to watch. Creswell's been very busy early. Oh, well done, Black, good hands. And then Black's, beautiful kick to Lynch. Yeah, well done by Simon Black. Just chopped that off, Plugger, beautifully there.
That was a good lead too. He's very, very quick on the lead, Alistair Lynch. And kicked 6 goals last week. Missed a couple that, he really should have got.
6-6 though.
But, yeah, so he's had a lot of shots for goal. So very important kick for him here. Do his confidence the world of good if he can nail this.
First up from a difficult spot. Geez, kicked it well, hasn't he? He has kicked it very well for a goal. Tell you what, you can pick and Plugger. The 2 fingers went up just as it left the boot there. If you ever give this cape up, you'd be a very good goal umpire.
That might be a little bit easier, Bruce, but look, a terrific lead and just what the players up the field want to see. They just want to see their hard work finished off, and that was the difference when Jason Ball took a terrific mark from a lot easier position, never finished a good work off from his teammates, and we see at the other end, Alistair Lynch on the lead, fast lead, turned around, kicked a beautiful goal.
It's been a good start, hasn't it, for 2 teams that probably have lost a bit of confidence?
Yeah, they're certainly both going at it at the moment. It's a good physical, tough game of footy.
So 2-1-2, Power busy early. Oh, Voss took that magnificently. The back turn, he had it for a long time in the end. He got it to half forward, though, pushing it forward. Power has been very impressive. The kick to the goals, well done, Dunkley. He's very strong from the hips down, isn't he? He held his ground then.
Yeah, he does play from in front too, Andrew Dunkley, and very strong in the thighs and does hold his ground particularly well. Shawball
to Saddington. Probably does need to step up, Saddington. He's been promising for 3 years. He's a good player. Speak of promising. Bolton. He can go very wide here, and he is going to go very wide. He's taking a chance. Creswell belts it down forward. Taken by Bolton to O'Loughlin. Straightens the body and misses. I reckon Bolton should have had a shot. O'Loughlin was always a bit cramped.
Yeah, he didn't have the room, did he, Plugger, to move into there?
But he still should have kicked that goal, Ruzi. I mean, it was relatively simple. All right, he was under a bit of pressure, but for a player of Michael O'Loughlin's class, he should have been able to kick that.
It's interesting, so far this year, so many games seem to be decided by teams that aren't putting the ball through. Last week, the Brisbane Lions, Port Power kicked 2-9 against the Sydney Swans 2 weeks ago, and the kicking's been pretty bad this year.
Well, Melbourne had the same number of shots as Adelaide today and lost by 6 goals. 8-22 they kicked. Centre wing, Barry. Still, oh, he's gone. Well, he got away with it in the end to Creswell. Just had to load it up really and bang it, and Goods has got it. Well, he's not going to take a shot. He's going to kick it across the ground. Hart's going to try and make a contest, and the mark taken by Armat. It was funny last week. He looked in really good form early, but nothing much happened when he got the ball. The week before he kicked 5-5, but he didn't end up with anything last week after. I thought he started promisingly.
He's a real confidence player, Robbie Armat. Now, if he can go back and kick this, he could be set for a good day.
45 out. He's careful.
Looks pretty good.
It's a good kick. Well, there's a few good signs, but at both ends, I think, at the moment.
I think the good thing, as mentioned Robbie Armat last week, the thing I liked about his game last week, at least he was tackling and chasing, and sometimes it's a good sign. Players, when they're out of form, it does look bad when they're not tackling, not chasing. But I felt last week, at least Robbie Armat was giving his all with his tackle and his chase, and he started off well this week, and they really need to kick that after missing a couple of critical early goals.
12 goals for the season for Armat. Ackermanis with him. Just having a little chat to one another. It's a couple of key jewels back there. Lepic, Goods and Ackermanis and Armat. Stafford in hard that time, but McDonald's had the best of it so far. Lambert to Voss. Voss so neat to half forward. Power just worried off at that time. Matthews getting a kick away towards the line, and that's a good return for the Swans. That was Crouch, in fact. Well done.
They've really got their engine room going at the moment, the Brisbane Lions. Lambert, who's been on and off the bench this year with injuries. Voss is in the middle as well. Young Black and Power changing out on the half-forward flank. So they certainly got some pretty critical midfielders, Brisbane Lions.
You notice that Lambert is the one that really wants Creswell, and he won't let him get to Voss. Away comes Picken. Picken's kick to fall forward. Outnumbered completely there, Lynch, and Shawbull, who acts as a sort of a double with Dunkley at times, has taken it. Well, that's straightened it up to Barry. I'm not sure if that was the one he intended to Crouch. Clever kick to Saddington. Saddington, will he take Lappin on? He's a hard man to take on. He's forced to go to the left. It was a poorer kick. It was a half and half, wasn't it? It was in between. And Lepic playing in front of Goods has got the mark. To Voss, out wide, and it finds Lappin, and Lappin around the line and gets to Hart. So some sloppy play by the Swans going forward. Hart at half back. Oh, that's a free kick against Barry to Brown. And advantage given to full forward, and Stafford filled the hole pretty well. Lynch and Dunkley out of play.
And that's just what you want to see Greg Stafford do. Get down there, help the defence, help Andrew Dunkley, and make it a 2-on-1 competition. And we'd also like to see him push forward a bit, because I reckon there's opportunities there for him to kick 2 or 3 goals each week as well.
Leo Barry, a huge fly over the top there, but completely illegal.
Stafford, it was taken from him, and then McRae. That is a great kick to Johnson. Almost went on, but is coming back now to have a shot.
Now Johnson's playing on Leo Barry too. Now Leo Barry's playing at half forward and pushing right up the ground. So if he's going to do that, he's going to have to watch Chris Johnson. Played with him at Fitzroy, and he played a lot of footy up forward and can be a very dangerous goal kicker.
He won the leading goal kicking at the Lions, Fitzroy, in 1995. Just the 1 goal so far this year. Good kick, he's got it. Two to 3 goals. So a 2-point margin. Stafford, backhander to centre half forward to Luff inboard to Bolton. Bolton forced to kick in a hurry, gets it to half forward. O'Loughlin, clever, well done. Creswell from 30 metres. That's a wonderful team goal. He's
been good early plugger, Darren Creswell.
He has been good. He's been pretty close to Voss. He hasn't given Voss too much room, but once again there, Mickey O'Loughlin, you see the silky skills that he does possess. That's why they call him Magic.
He is very hard. Once he gets in front, just a deft little handball over the top. Darren Creswell, who is a pretty good finisher. Probably a better shot on the run than he is as a set shot, Darren Creswell, where he can miss some, but he's kicked 11 goals this year, and that's his 12th goal, so it's a pretty good return from a midfielder.
He's actually kicked goals in 10 of the 11 matches he's played in. He hasn't got big numbers, but he's contributed 1 or 2 every week. So he's got to stay on Stafford, or he's stiff there because he was away. And then the handball. White may cut it off. A lot of players falling over. Schwass got a handball to Barry. Barry's going to take them on, but it was a very good tackle from Chris Johnson. And Black comes away. Oh, sure, but that's a good mark, isn't it?
He has been terrific early on in this game, and gee, he's been a shining light for the Swans this year.
Yeah, he's been a very good recruit, hasn't he? He's played a little bit up forward in the last couple of weeks, done very well up there, and he's doing well today again.
Kick to centre half forward, ball, not quite, Lappin, still with the Lappin. He's done really well here to get away, then bangs it onto the boot to try and get some distance to centre half. Oh, power, absolutely crunched in the front from Stafford. McDonald's handball okay, Malloy over the top, McRae in trouble. Well done, Matthews, didn't give a free kick away and held him up and then gets a high tackle. That was a very good play by Matthews. Got Bolton on here. Now Bolton's going to have to run hard. Malloy's got some steam up. Bolton against him. Malloy, well, that's bad play by Malloy because he had him scummed, didn't he?
And he also had a teammate coming over in Bo McDonald too, so they just had to worry him out of the ball there, Jude Bolton, but just a pretty ugly tackle, that one.
Barry just got rid of Black a bit there, just used his bulk a bit and probably a bit more weight. Probing, kick to centre half forward. Caught underneath it was Armat. Hart running hard. Stevens, oh, good, well done. And then caresses at the luff, who kicks a goal. Adam Goods, you are a beauty.
Well, you kicked 1,353 million goals, but did you ever pick the ball up off the ground like that? That was just absolutely...
That was Anthony Koutafidis, wasn't it?
I'll tell you what, that's a good analogy, Bruce. Have a look at this. That is absolutely fantastic play.
Well, yeah, quite amazing, wasn't it? No, I never did introduce myself to the turf that often, I can assure you.
I tell you what, Goods... Oh, there's the crunch, power getting it hot. Goods has kicked one. He's kicked one to Ahmad, who's kicked a goal, and he's kicked one to Luff, who's kicked a goal. He's had a big start, hasn't he?
He's had a great start. Let's hope he can continue on because, gee, it's going to be important at the end of the day that Adam Goods does have a big game.
Well, it's a promising start for him. Leppich will just have to tighten. We know that Leppich is a dasher. Black's hands were very good in low. Pickens kicking. Probably just took a step too much. Lynch disappointed there. Dunkley's got it.
A great chase from Jude Bolton. We've come to know over the last year and a half what a great tackler and chaser he is, and a very good effort there.
Wharf. Poor kick. Schwass goes to ground. Brisbane have got numbers. Voss. Handballed out defensively really in the end. Wharf. Good bounce for Johnson, and then Johnson and McRae. Now McRae's a good kick normally. He's about 75 metres out. Decides to load it up. Can Dunkley get back? It's going to bounce through from behind. Gee, that covered some distance.
It covered some distance, Bruce, but I tell you, it was a terrible kick. Alistair Lynch was on the lead, about 5 yards in front of Andrew Dunkley, and there's Malloy getting taken off the ground, perhaps for that indiscretion. But Alistair Lynch was 5 yards clear of Andrew Dunkley, leading in the correct spot, and Craig McRae completely ignored him and just had a shot for goal and kicked the point. So a pretty bad option there.
Brucey, that's exactly what happened. As soon as Jared Malloy made that tackle on the wing, he was dragged. So for that indiscretion, definitely.
Creswell's kick to Saddington. That's pinpoint accuracy. I'll tell you what, the Swans are really keen here at the moment. They've got a chance to put a space in the lines. They're on top. Saddington's kicked to half forward. Armat, Lachlan, I should say. Gee, did that well. He did that very well, and then goes to centre half forward to Luff.
It's a big ask for young Aaron Shattuck too, isn't it, to play on Mickey O'Loughlin. Just a rookie this year. I know he's a terrifically talented player, but Mickey O'Loughlin's in the upper echelon in the AFL and had a great season, so a really hard day's work for Shattuck.
No Chris Scott, no Huskus. One of them probably would have got O'Loughlin, wouldn't they?
I probably would have thought Chris Scott would have picked him up.
Well, Luff's kicked one. He's been pretty good, Luffy. Back end forward. He's 50 out. Oh, he hasn't kicked that too well. In fact, it may not get there. and it's at least a boundary throw in the end, just off the side.
Just tried to kick that too hard, Plugger.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think there's anyone in the Swan side that likes kicking a goal more than Luffy, is there? But, it could have been. I think he was always going to struggle from that distance. Maybe a short pass would have been a little bit better option.
Kennedy and Ball. Ball had the edge. He's done a lot of ruck work over the years for West Coast. White always seems to have a lot of time. And that's good play.
Yeah, that's
Johnson.
great play by Darryl. He does have a lot of time. Just very, very good down back because he makes terrific decisions. A lot of players in that situation would have panicked, but he just hung on to the football and then delivered to his teammate.
Johnson goes for distance. Saddington, terrific fly. The Swan, free kick to Lambert. Actually, the Swans did very poorly there. They had Stafford and Saddington against one and couldn't get away with it. Black went through his legs. Bolton been good early, pushing on. Very well done by Wharf. Out wide. Still. Wharf back to Matthews. It was Matthews to Wharf to Laugh. Didn't hold it. McRae. Just those little 1%ers they had up at the end. Picken. Back. Gets it to McRae. Topoke okay. Ackermanis hasn't been involved too much. Lappin's been busy. May take Schwass on here. He's at the defensive part of the centre square. Loads up and kicks to centre half forward. Swan's getting good numbers around contest. Barry takes the mark. Gives to Dunkley. To Armat. Now will he take Johnson on? Stevens is to go. Or O'Loughlin. He kicks to O'Loughlin. Stevens running hard for him here. O'Loughlin's seen him and goes to Schwass. Got him.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Mickey O'Loughlin was probably the only one that saw Wayne Schwass. And I was like you, Bruce. I was looking for the other player, and that just shows you what a terrific player Mickey O'Loughlin is. All eyes in the grandstand would have been on that leading Swans player, and all of a sudden, what great vision Mickey O'Loughlin has, saw Wayne Schwass, who was cutting a swathe through a number of players in a pack, and then all of a sudden end up with a ball. Well done, Michael O'Loughlin.
Troy Luff is having a bit of a spell on the bench too after his poor attempt at a mark there, just going for it one-handed, so he's gone off to have a think about it.
Fitzgerald on. Tricky kick this, isn't it, for Schwass? Just tucked up a bit.
Yeah, he'll nail this one, Bruce.
You're right again. Well, he didn't look like missing. That's a good goal, and that'll do Schwassy the world of good. I mean, he's tried his heart out again, as he always does this season, but it just hasn't happened for him yet, has it?
Just that long raking left foot, the 50 or 60 metre passes, Plugger, I reckon they're the things that have been missing in Schwass's game to the leading forward. He's still getting a fair bit of the football, but just that long raking kick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Wayne Schwass does the most damage when he's tearing through the middle and hitting leading forwards. It's all right to get plenty of possessions around the back half, but if he can get the ball through the middle, hit his forwards, that's when it really counts.
So goal to Schwass. So what's happening with Craig Lambert, Nick?
Seems to be a problem with his groin. They're working on his lower back at the moment, but he's only just rolled over, so there was definitely concern about his groin or lower stomach area. He's a bit proppy just at the moment.
Well, he's had a litany of problems in that area over the years, hasn't he? It's been disappointing for him. Creswell very short to Fitzgerald. It was a good play.
Yeah, he's been outstanding, Darren Creswell, and that's the benefit of getting the ball out of the centre early. It's been a pretty good matchup in the midfield. Voss, Lambert, who's on the bench now, against Schwass and Creswell, so there's certainly some quality amongst those players. And Ryan Fitzgerald, really for his confidence, he's been in the seconds for the last couple of weeks, needs to go back and kick this goal.
Hasn't kicked a goal in the AFL since round 5. It's been his last 3 matches he played, he didn't score a goal. So, big kick for him. Should get this. Well, the signs are good for the Swans.
It's interesting, without being too critical on Justin Leppich, because he is an All-Australian from last year. He started on Adam Goods, who was terrorising him early. He went on to Troy Luff, and Troy Luff took a couple of marks on him. And now he's gone on to Ryan Fitzgerald, and Ryan Fitzgerald's just kicked a goal on him as well. So it looks like he's now going on to Leo Barry. So
he's in between. He's actually, he's
still on Fitzgerald. So it hasn't been a great start for the All-Australian, as Jason Ball comes off the field just for perhaps a bit of a rest.
It's Richard Champion sitting it out alongside Damien Cupido, I should say. So we've got a veteran there and a youngster at 18 wanting to get his first run. Brett Voss out of the centre. The Lions need one here. Good mark, front spot taken there by Craig Bolton. That was a strong front mark against Saddington. And they really need a goal here from this youngster.
He's a lively player too, young Craig Bolton. He's had a pretty good season so far, and yes, he does need to kick this goal. It's 7-2 to 3-1, so they've really put a bit of a gap, Sydney Swans, so this is a critical kick for the Lions.
He's played in every match but one so far in his rookie season. He's just pushed it away, hasn't he, from behind. Lee Matthews did such a wonderful job with the Lions last year. They came into the final series with an unbelievable form, and Rodney Eade, well, they know each other pretty well, don't they? There's so many coaches from that Hawthorn era now, aren't there, around the traps?
Yeah, it was a great era at Hawthorn, wasn't it? And Rodney Eade and Lee Matthews would have played a lot of football together.
Premierships together, and under Jeansy in those famous days, and Parker before that, some good mentors for them. Just Wolf couldn't find it in the end, and Luff ran into him. Got a handball away. Black was good. He got rid of a couple. Voss, still Voss. He hasn't been able to do it, and Creswell hacked it in the end. And Goods running hard, way away from full forward. He's been outstanding, Goods, in this opening term. Left foot inboard for O'Loughlin. Terrific take. Wonderful skills. O'Loughlin gives it off. Maxfield could goal. He's 48 out. It's just going to miss. Fading late.
Just interesting, that one plugger there. He had Mickey O'Loughlin, who was actually running onto his right side, handballing it to a left footer who had to straighten up. Once again, probably the better option was Mickey O'Loughlin having a pass to a forward or having a shot.
Yeah, look, it's a split-second decision, isn't it? I mean, they haven't got much time to think about it. I think it was the right thing to do, though.
Stafford almost. Fitzgerald. There's a bit of tall timber when you see those two together in the centre. To centre wing. Crouch has to find it. He does, and does really well. Fitzgerald's lively. Schwass to Crouch. A poor kick. Well, maybe he spotted Goods out of the corner of his eye, but it wasn't a good return in the end. Good pick-up coming from McRae to Ackermanis. A bit up and under. In fact, very much up and under. And that's a lucky free kick, I reckon, to Voss. But
this is a great contest, isn't it? Michael Voss versus Taron Creswell. It's not often you get two premier midfielders playing against each other.
Kennedy at centre wing. Can the Lions score a late one? Kennedy long one. Now Lynch and Dunkley. Well done by Picken. Hooking back, but he's going to just scrape it in from behind. It's just about as good as we've seen the Swans for a few weeks, isn't it?
I think the good thing about them is they're getting numbers to the ball, and they're putting a lot more pressure on the opposition players this week.
Andrew Bomford and Jason Ball on the bench. But yeah, I think this is probably as good as I've seen them this quarter of football. 7 goals at this stage of the game is a good return.
Schwass in short. Long kick to Stevens. Within Brown, belts it away. Another one of those rookies for the Lions. Lappin's been pretty good. Over the top to Brown, to Brett Voss. Still trying to really make his mark. That's a good kick to Lynch, and gee, Hart. Boy, his teammate there, he's cleaned him up, unfortunately.
Yeah, thanks very much, Alistair Lynch. Sean Hart would be saying right there and then. But, gee, I guess Alistair's got to go for that. He's the leading forward, isn't he, Plugger? And probably just a case of Sean Hart being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, look, it's a 50-50, that one. Obviously, we get told as players too to man in front, so I suppose Alistair Lynch, even though he's taken the mark, you could look at it the other way. He could have just held back and let Hart take that mark, but look, it's a line ball decision, isn't it? And what it probably has done now is Hart's probably going to not play much further part in the game after that.
Probably the other thing too is just the talk. If Alistair's on the lead and does feel he's the player to get it, he really needs to talk to young Sean Hart and tell him to leave it. And maybe in that case, it's hard to obviously tell from so far away, maybe in that case Alistair didn't give the nod to Sean to get out of the way, because certainly Alistair's a big lad, 6'4" and about 95 kilos, and Sean Hart is certainly nowhere near that size. So let's just hope that he has a bit of a spell on the bench. Perhaps he's just winded and can come back on the ground.
Got a big cheer too from the Swans fans, which was really good. Well, Lynch kicked a super goal, didn't he, in his first kick today. This one's tighter and tougher. Sort of owes it to Sean Hart, doesn't he? And he hasn't given it much chance in the end. He missed the lot.
You wonder whether it's just playing in his mind, just injuring a teammate. I don't know whether he really seemed to be concerned about him when he went down, and perhaps that played on his mind as he came in to kick it.
I don't think the break in concentration, if that hadn't happened, he could have went back and just lined the goal straight up. It might have been a bit better off, but it broke his concentration.
Cupido getting a run. First run in senior footy. Shawball's kick to half forward. Saddington, good stretch front spot. The hands were okay. Missed by Stevens. Lappin's been very, very good. Over the top by Shattuck to Ackermanis. And the side sounds. Just thinking Sean Hart too, he's got the helmet on, he's had a lot of knocks around the head over the years, but he's a tough little nut. He's in there, and he looks a bit sick, sore and sorry, doesn't he, at the moment? Lynchy owes him one, that's for sure.
Yeah, he certainly doesn't look well, and I'm sure Alistair Lynch wouldn't be feeling all that flash about kneeing him in the back and then missing that goal. So, yeah, well, let's just hope that Sean Hart does come back on the ground, because he is a very valuable player for them, and he's getting a fair bit of treatment at the moment. Probably asking him at the doctor what time it is or what the score is on the scoreboard. That's normally the questions they ask you when you do get a bit of a knock.
Well, the Rockets going to be pretty happy. Lethal not so at quarter time. It's a 4-goal break. The Swans are 7-3 over the Lions 3-3.
Bruce.
Kick to centre half forward. Lions probably just need an early one here. Voss, Saddington. Rodney Eade spent quite a bit of time with Jason Saddington when he first went to the huddle at quarter time. He ended up getting it a fair bit in that opening term. O'Loughlin's kick to Stevens. The mark taken. Matthews running hard. Stevens kicks it to him. It was a good kick actually, because it made him stretch over the back, because Black was onto him in the front. Had it been short, the kick by Matthews. Luff hard at it, still with it. Handball inboard, terrific to Wharf. Wharf 50 metres out. Good play. Well, Malaxos said it, didn't he, Steve? They're cleaner than they've been for so long.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you what, Rowan Wolf's given a bit of run also, too. He's missed the last couple of weeks, gone back to Port Melbourne to play. Yeah, he's had 6 possessions. It's just given that run off the back of the 50-metre square and really been important for them. It's interesting too, Darren Creswell, who had 11 possessions in the first quarter, is still on Michael Voss, and Voss has gone forward. So whether that's for Lee Matthews saying to Michael Voss, take Darren Creswell out of the play, even though Voss was critical with 7 possessions as well, and Wayne Swash has been good also early in this game, lining up for what could be his second goal.
Again an angle, but this should suit the left footer a bit better. He had no mistake with the first. That one he has missed. So behind to Schwartz. Playing forward a fair bit today. He's 31. He's had a long and outstanding career, hasn't he?
And he took a couple of steps there too, Plug. It just didn't look like he was settled at all.
He just didn't look fluent at all at that stage, but I think he naturally kicks a little bit like that, only from a very short run-up. But he's been good early on today already.
Sorry, Plugger, that was a great kick at the end from Lepage. He skirted with danger. White got it. Gee, look at him go. 2 bounces, gets it to about 70 metres. Good kick to Lynch. He just stretched. I say good, it might have had just a centimetre or two too much on it.
I've seen already Lynch is leading to the pockets. He's not, even if he does get the ball out there, he's only a sort of a 50-50 chance of kicking a goal from that acute of angle.
So it's right half forward, Lions attacking, Stafford belting away. Just thinking of Lepage, he's had no impact, has he? I mean, normally his rebound is such a factor in a match. There's the Sydney bench.
He's taken some risks early on, they just haven't paid off. Adam Goods kicked that first goal when Lepage left him and went away. He's only had the 2 handballs, so he's really struggled early in this game.
I think the thing with Lepage, though, he does rely a lot, and he works in very well with Huskus and Scott. And without them 2 players there today, he's a bit of a lone hand down there.
Wharf missed by Crouch. Voss good in close to Bolton. Gee, keeps his eye on the ball when it's hot. It's a hot footy. That's a great sign. Shawball to Schwartz to Creswell. Had to kick it as far as he could. McRae searched for it a bit, but he did extremely well. The handball to the advantage. Taken by Bolton. Good kick inside. He is a likely type, Bolton. Got it in board to centre half forward to Picken. Picken, good kick to Lynch. Well, Dunkley let him go.
Yeah, it's interesting. Andrew Dunkley in that case is playing him from in front. And what happens if you're playing from in front? Sometimes you do tend to lose him. Just as Andrew turned his head to see where Alistair was and then looked back at the football, as soon as he looked back at the football, Alistair Lynch led there into space.
Jared Malloy was actually running to the goal square, and I think he was going to try and cover Jared Malloy, and he just got caught out a little bit there.
Lynch's kick, it's coming, go back, he likes it. So it's a good return from Lynch so far. He's looked dangerous, he's got 2. And he's getting involved at 7-4 to 4-3.
He is the sort of player, if you give him room, Alistair Lynch. You've played on him when you played at full forward. He's super quick, isn't he?
He is super quick. He is. I mean, you just can't give him an inch at all. He is a great athlete and very explosive off the mark. So I think that's the way he's, the way he plays with him, quick leading. It'll be a handful for Andrew Dunkley, but I'm sure he's equal to the task.
7-4 to 4-3, so a tightening goal for the Lions. Back to a manageable margin. The Swans have had a lot of leads at the SCG this year and not turned them into victories. Handball by Lappin to Picken, who's been pretty good. A floating wobbly one. There's the Lynch acceleration. Dunkley. And Lynch gives him a bit of a push. Dunkley looking for a free boundary throw in.
I've liked Craig Lambert early in this game too. He's had 6 possessions in the first quarter. Just got that ball out of the centre again. Looks like he's back to somewhere near the best form of really getting in and under. He's critical for the Brisbane Lions because he does get the ball out to the running players like McRae and Ackermanis and company.
McDonald over the top. Shawball's handball to Creswell. Well, Creswell's kick dangerous because he had nothing on it. Fortunately for the Swans, it's bounced away. McRae to Ackermanis. Ackermanis deep, long and probing. Lynch takes off. Good play. Bolton in the front. Black was very, very good to McDonald. A goal.
Just great play all round there, I think. A good lead from Alistair Lynch. Well done by Jude Bolton. We saw already what happens when a player gets in front of Alistair Lynch, being Sean Hart in that first quarter. Jude Bolton put his body on the line. Then it was crumbed. There, I think he called Bruce Simon Black.
He's good, wasn't he, Black?
Let's watch it here. Well done, just great crumbing. And Beau McDonald, the big fella, just drifting down forward, making sure that Stafford now can't drop in front of the hole. So Beau McDonald may push forward a bit this quarter, but good play all round there.
Critical period, really, for the Lions. They've done really well here, haven't they? Got themselves back in. 7-4 to 5-3, and this has been the moment this year where the Swans have capitulated. When a team has challenged them like this, it's very early in this match still. Stevens did well, still running hard. Can he get it over to Luff? He does. Can Luff get it over the top? In the end, Cupido got involved and did well. Then Barry gets rid of him. Johnson, well done, Lions. Gets it to Kennedy, and I reckon they'll be pretty happy to get out of all of that.
Real desperate stuff there from the Brisbane Lions.
Game day coming up at half-time today. So with John Longmire, Todd Viney and Tony Shaw, we believe that Ben Cousins has got a knee injury. Let's hope it's not serious, but that's from Colonial. And half-time game day coming up, so more on Cousins and everything else. Johnson's kick to half-time, to centre wing, I should say. Crouch has got it. Almost feel like the Swans need a goal here. It sounds ridiculous. They're 2 in front. Armat back to Crouch. Forced to go hard and high. Ball front spot. The ball does come to the back. Barry working hard. Handball. Saddington with some good hands. Then hooks back to the front. Who's got the pace? It was White who accelerated into the ball to take the mark.
Well done by Darryl White. Just led Troy Luff to that hot spot there, and he's a great athlete, Darryl White. Been very good early in this game. Provides him a lot of run, but he's also a terrifically skillful player. Nigel Lappin had 12 possessions in the first quarter, and he's very much involved in this game also.
Halfback Bolton. Voss is playing basically as a forward pocket and forcing Creswell back there. Shawball good. To Schwass. A lot of players running. The kick to Armat in the heart of the centre square. Not a good handball to O'Loughlin. He probably shouldn't have called for it. He was always going to run into some trouble and then forced to kick in a hurry. Lappin belts it away from Stevens. Stevens the job to run with Lappin now towards the boundary line. Stevens, well done Lappin, second effort. Then Bolton comes in and takes it with one hand. He too's worried out of it by Lambert, and now a boundary throw in.
Both teams pretty committed, Plugger, aren't they? As Jason Ball's on the boundary line, but they're really throwing themselves in.
Well, they've got a lot to play for. She's high stakes today, Rosie, and you wouldn't expect anything else.
Stafford and McDonald. So they've been able to claw their way back here, the Lions, and the Swans have had a fair bit of it and haven't been able to put much on the board. Schwass runs onto it. Ackermanis tries to run onto Schwass. 50 out. Good kick. Wonderful footy by Wayne Schwass to Adam Goods on the burst. He could have blazed. He was probably 5 metres too far out to make it a good thing.
That's the sort of stuff we talked about in the first quarter, though, wasn't it? That makes Wayne Schwass a special player. When he gets it on the run and he kicks those low drop punts to the leading forward. And Plugger, you were on the end of plenty of those.
Kicks the ball lovely, Wayne Schwass.
Adam Goods. He's got his second.
Pretty important start for Adam Goods, isn't it? Just been a little bit down on form the last couple of weeks. And I think it's just important that he does play in that one position. He's still only a young fella. He's a Norwich rising star. Well done by Wayne Swash. Just gets the ball, got his pants pulled down there and continued to run. Just a great finish. But just for Adam Goods, we forget what a young player he is. It'd just be nice to leave him in the one spot for perhaps a whole game and just let him settle right down and see if he can kick as many goals as possible.
20-year-old Adam Goods with a couple of goals, and he's given a couple off, and Wayne Schwartz has been very good with a goal and that pass. It could be a day where the full forwards have a real impact here. Lynch and Goods have both looked in good nick early, haven't they?
It's also Michael Voss has gone right down into the forward pocket, standing next to Alistair Lynch now, and Darren Creswell's gone back with him as well.
Free kick to Cupido, so he's going to get his first kick. Born in Cape Town. It's a lovely kick. Wide, got it to Shattuck, then Shattuck to McRae. He's played deep today and pretty busily, and a touch coming from Matthews. Just got a hand to it. Wharf. Ruzzi's talked about his burst. Well done, they just kept it in. Matthews, now they might be in trouble. Powell working forward. Matthews went to ground. O'Loughlin there, and the Lions forced it to win in about 10 metres of the point post.
Craig McRae, it's a bit hard to pick up exactly where he is playing, but he's had 10 possessions. Looks like he's forward, bit of a licence to go up to the wing and even across half back. He's covering a lot of territory.
Stafford, McDonald did well. Crouch, soft handball was the way to go to Creswell. Barry's in the box seat. Strong mark, that's a very good mark. Creswell keeps on getting it, doesn't he? Maybe Luff's the kick here. He's going to go to centre half forward. Luff's going to be the one front spot. He normally holds those. Well done, White. Lambert sweeps a long handball to Kennedy to Lepage. First time we've really seen Lepage able to get away. Lovely kick out wide, and it finds his target in Bolton at centre wing. Now Bolton goes in short to Voss. So good build up here. That was pretty impressive.
Nice somersault from Michael Voss.
10 out of 10 to McDonald.
Sean Hart back on, boys.
He's dropped it. Well, he should have been pinged then. Thanks for that, Nick. Johnson, little sideways. Cupido. Back to McDonald. McDonald up and under, floating. Hart's there. Oh, boy, poor old Sean Hart.
He'd want to get back on the bench plugger if he kept jumping on like that.
He must have said, oh, no, not Lynchy again. But in fact, it was Bomford in his first touch to Leo Barry, who floats it to Fitzgerald at half forward. Good effort by Chris Johnson. Back to White. Gave it up to Armat. Should use it. Does. Well done to Luff.
Yeah, look, well done by Chris Johnson on Ryan Fitzgerald. He's been a good player early in the game, Chris Johnson, but then a poor handball resulted in Robbie Armat and a good pass. I don't know who was picking up Troy Luff, but he was 30 metres in the clear, no one around him, so probably inexcusable for the Brisbane Lions defence then.
Well, he kicked a goal early, won a sitter really, after Goods has set it up. Missed one from about 50, and that's coming back for a goal. Well, Luffy's kicked two, and this, I think, has been a very important 5 minutes for Sydney. The Lions have really got back, haven't they? Now Sydney get back to where they were at quarter time.
Yeah, Brisbane got back to within 13 points of Sydney and looked very dangerous, but now a couple of goals for the Swans have settled down again, and they hold their 4-goal lead again.
9-4 to 5-3, so some good kicking here. 58 to 33. Luff with a couple. Lynch has got a couple for the Lions, and Goods a couple for the Swans. Matthews with a bit of strength to O'Loughlin. O'Loughlin high. Now Barry's a very good mark. Cupido against him. Well done, Lepage.
Yeah, well done from Justin Lepage. It's hard when you're not playing with confidence as Justin Lepage is at the moment to continue to play the way you normally do, which is running off, and that's what he's got to continue to do if he wants to get into this game. But well done there, just to take on his man and leave him and help his teammate.
White, Luff's second effort pretty good. Back to White. It's a good kick in there. It's a battle of strength between Maxfield. Run down Shattuck. It was a good run down from Schwass. Maxfield and Hart, the battle of strength. Boundary throw in. That's not a bad matchup, Stewie Maxfield and Sean Hart.
Yeah, it's a good matchup, and not often you see two players of that size involved in a tussle for strength in a marking contest like that either.
Stafford, Matthews, Shattuck, and again it'll be a ball up right in front of us. We're 7 floors up, you get a good view. Had some exciting days and nights here, I can tell you, over the years. But right now, Sydney need a win, as much as they have probably since Rodney Eads been at the club. And the same can be said for Brisbane, except that Lee's only been there a couple of years, Lee Matthews, and Rocket's in his 5th. Well done by Shattuck. Back to Black. Oh, little give was good. Champion back on the ground. Goes to the forward pocket. Lynch again going wide. Bomford just overran it a bit, but Lynch couldn't get it. Boundary throw in.
Yeah, just on that too, Bruce, I think with Brisbane playing 8 of their next 11 at home, I think they're still very much a chance if they lose today to make the finals. You would expect them to probably win 7 of 8 of those games.
Whereas the Swans have used up a lot of home games, haven't they? And a couple of where they've actually played home away, if that makes any sense, against the Bulldogs and the Kangaroos. It's a tremendous advantage they have with other teams coming up here to play in Sydney for the dollar and the ability to spread your wings.
There's Jason Ball on the boundary. It would appear so, wouldn't it? But they haven't been all that successful up here in recent times.
Stafford and McDonald. Stafford down to Power, who was really good in the first 20 minutes. Maxfield tried to toe poke. Power got in hard, and it'll be a ball up.
Yeah, they've really clamped down on Luke Power, haven't they? He had 6 possessions in the first quarter and was extremely lively. He's only had the 1 possession this quarter, and Jared Crouch has got the job on him and really tightened up on him.
Stafford, McDonald do well, Ackermanis, quick little kick into that danger spot. Voss, well done Creswell, and then Dunkley, and a couple of tackles. The first one from Lynch, ball up again. So Brisbane have been able to push forward. They've got it to within about 20 metres of goal, but not an easy area to score a goal from here. They need something clean, quick and clever. Swans may go for the line. Stafford, Voss, still Voss, back to Lambert. That's a good kick right there. Is it through? I think it's a goal. It's a goal.
Well, I thought that was touched.
Yeah, certainly.
I don't know about you fellas, but
Well, Andrew Dunkley was certainly close enough to touch it. There's Rodney Eade biting his fingernails off, but 2 very important Brisbane Lion players involved. Craig Lambert kicking the goal, getting taken off the ground, and Michael Voss. I've been particularly impressed with Craig Lambert today. He's been back to somewhere near his best with his real short handballs, and as the ball goes through, it didn't appear that they did get a fingernail on it, so probably the right decision.
So Lambert being worked on after that goal. Well, they needed something quick and clever, and they got it from Voss, didn't they, to Lambert. Got one out of nothing, really. It was a bit inconclusive whether Dunkley touched it or not. Stafford to Black to Voss. Well, if he can impose himself on the game, watch out. Bomford's got it.
you would think he would be a lot more useful in the midfield, Rosie, wouldn't he? Than stuck up one end of the ground.
Yeah, look, I think they've got the option, haven't they? But certainly he's one of the key midfielders in the game.
Stafford to Matthews to Barry. Goods at the back. Free kick, I think, going to Barry.
Yeah, I think Cubido, the young fellow, was just holding on there. I just caught out the corner of my eye. It'd be interesting to see that again. But I think Leo Barry was going back, looked like to take a comfortable mark, and perhaps young Q, just watch it. Yeah, he's just got a fistful of jumper there and didn't allow Leo Barry to get full access. So pretty tiggy touch with it, but I guess the letter of the rule states that it is a free kick.
Should score a goal here, Barry. He's had an interesting season. In bursts he's been brilliant, but he hasn't been able to sustain it throughout a match. Is that coming back like Luffs? No. How many of those would you kick at practice, Plugger? Is that the range you practice from, 30 out?
Yeah, look, there's no excuse for that. Look, perfect conditions today to kick goals, Bruce, and I dare say he'll be... he might be venturing over to my little group on Tuesday morning.
Do you think Malloy's still on the bench is interesting, isn't it? He's...
It's interesting, they've got a lot of young players out there, haven't they, Brisbane Lions? You would think Malloy, well done, good mark by Mick Alec, but you would think Malloy, with his experience and just his bulk and his enthusiasm, would be a key player to be on the ground at this stage.
He came off for Richard Champion, Rosie, so I think they're just trying to tinker across half forward there, just not getting enough through there.
So Champion will play a tough hard man role there too. O'Loughlin's hurt himself a bit with that. Long kick right to the square. Barry's taken a beauty. Well, he is mercurial, isn't he? There's Mickey O'Loughlin. He's a bit winded.
Yeah, look, Leo Barry, as far as athleticism goes, Plugger, there's not too many that can match him, but it's just the consistency factor with him.
He's just very explosive. He has some terrific quarters, and then he has a quiet one. If he could just put 4 quarters together, he could be an outstanding player. Let's hope he can kick this one. Just plays on and slots it.
So Barry goaling. The signs that are good for the Swans is that every time the Lions are getting 1 or 2, the Swans are matching them.
Just Lepic on the kick out there too, kicking it straight as we see.
It was White actually.
Sorry,
White was kicking to Lepic.
Yeah, sorry, Lepic was out. I don't want to be too hard on Lepic, but yeah, just shows you the result of a kick out now. It can be a very offensive ploy, but it can also backfire against you. And Leo Barry, great mark running back towards goal, and a good goal for him.
O'Loughlin picking himself up. The other thing with Lepic leading, if he doesn't take the mark, he's standing the mark and not in the goal square to contest with Barry. Makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's a good point there. There was no one really with the height of Leo Barry running back towards the goal.
So the Swans again get to that 4-goal lead. Stafford was very aggressive in the centre square there. McRae and Black down to McRae. Power leads for him. Good kick out forward in front of him. Power running onto it. Now Crouch has been with him all day. Over the top to McRae. McRae's been busy, a bounce, and then goes to the pocket. Now can McDonald or Lynch? Oh, McDonald's at the back. He's a chance, the big fella. Oh, he's missed it.
Great desperation from Wayne Swass, I think it was there. And what happened there, Big Bo McDonald was drifting down. Andrew Shawbull left him and went to help Andrew Dunkley because Alistair Lynch had the box seat, as we see Craig McRae, who has been outstanding early in this game. But just watch it here. We could see Andrew Dunkley a bit under trouble there, but Shawbull left his man to help him and it nearly backfired. Thankfully for Wayne Swass, for the Sydney Swans fans, he was there to affect that tackle.
It's been good, Schwartz, and so's Creswell, who's had a great first quarter. Up and under, Shawbull caught underneath it. He stood his ground well, but the Lions have got all the numbers. Voss to Power to Champion, stops and props. Poor handball, Black had to stop. Champion has a second crack. Ackermanis, very well done, Maxfield, and then floats at the centre wing. Can Goods get a handle on it? Johnson against him. Johnson was almost the last man standing. This will be a good reply for Brisbane, but this is a huge turnover to Hart. Let's hope he's got all his senses about him after that first quarter. Stops and props and uses Lepic. Lepic little, that's untidy to Power. That's a very disappointing result by the Lions. They'll be livid with all of that.
Yeah, they had 2 big players in the goal square there too. Justin Lepic, been a bit critical of him today, but just bad to see. Well done, he ran down the field and still prepared to chance his arm, so well done from that point of view, but just needed to get it in the goal mouth where Alistair Lynch was standing.
Goods. I thought Chris Johnson was very good at half back then under pressure. Lappin hooking back to centre half forward. Bomford belting away. Then Goods got a deft touch to Schwass, to Maxfield on the burst. Pushes, he kicks. Chance for Fosdyke having his first crack at it. Working the ball. Fosdyke left foot to O'Loughlin. Got him. They want 50, but that was an important play by the Lions to stop Mickey because he was on the turn, wasn't he? And then goes to Luff in the pocket. He's kicked to Luffy. He's going to go in short to Bolton. Got him. This is a very promising player, Bolton.
Terrific player. He's going to kick from about 45, Bruce, and not renowned as being a long kick, Jude Bolton. But let's hope for his sake and the Swans' sake that he can go back and thread this. I reckon he's just inside his distance here.
Well, that's a bit of inside information because we'll get a chance to see. And he has missed it. Spot on there, your observations, Tony.
It's an interesting matchup between Darryl White and Troy Luff. White does chance his arm, runs up the field. He's had 7 possessions, but it's allowed Troy Luff a little bit of latitude, and Troy's had 9 possessions and kicked 2 goals, so you would think at this stage he's got the honours over Darryl White.
Well, their defence has been a bit shaky this year, Brisbane. It was a famed defence last year with Ackermanis and Lepic and Scott and Huskus. They had 3 or 4 that were at All-Australian stage, weren't they? Not forgetting Kennedy and a couple of others. White to Voss. So Voss at half back.
this is where Brisbane's really struggling. They're struggling to get a clean possession into their forward line due to the pressure that the Swans midfielders are applying.
Chris Johnson, I think they might have turned the lights on. It's going to be a late finish here today. Johnson's kick to half forward, out of play. So Nick, a couple of questions. Are the lights on? And secondly, what about those white shorts?
The lights are on, and it seems the fashion police have been in action with the Swans. They've decided that because they've got more white on their Guernsey, that they'll wear the white shorts, even though it is a home game. So that's the official word.
Creswell, bit fortuitous, but it was good hands. The kick to O'Loughlin, the 50-50. Into the pocket, Stafford, can he break a tackle? Shattuck did well, back to Barry, who's playing with a lot of confidence, loads up, there's a one-on-one situation, now Lepage coming in, Fitzgerald, great contest, Bolton kicks a goal, good stuff Fitzgerald. He stood his ground, didn't he?
Yeah, great play by Ryan Fitzgerald there, really just stood his ground. Justin Lepage was storming in from the side there, and I think eventually just got a hand to it. So terrific stuff. Leo Barry, who has been good, didn't bother having a shot for goal there, just squared it up into the middle of the ground. Just watch, well done by Fitzgerald, but Lepage just got a hand to it. Bolton follows it up, and a good goal from Jude Bolton. We saw him miss one just before, so that's going to be good for his confidence.
Well, it's a dangerous time for the Lions here. Just before half-time, they've got to hang on here. 11-6 to 6-4. Voss, so important to them. Goods, missed by Creswell. Then Black, who hasn't had so much to date. Cupido's gone forward and taken a very good mark. It's been paid.
Yeah, it could be a little bit touchy, that one, but I reckon it was a mark. Solid mark.
Yeah, look, I think he held it. I really do. I think he held it for long enough. Let's just watch it again here. Troy Luff storming in from the side there. Yeah, a bit hard to tell on the screen, but from mine, I did think it was a mark.
Very important goal for the Brisbane Lions here, just before the half-time break.
It's his first shot in league footy. It's
32 points. If he doesn't score, he's quite a margin to take into a half-time break as well.
Certainly looks a good kick. And he just missed a plugger. So behind to Damien Cupido. We might get a better view of the mark here. It seemed to us as if first sight that he did mark it. Stopped it in its tracks. It just depends on how much he had of it on the way down, really.
Just interesting too, we've been critical over the last few weeks of Sydney's short kicking. Today they've had 31 long kicks to only Brisbane's 18, so it's been a real turnaround in their game plan today.
Goods to Creswell. Did all right, well, I said did all right in the end. He didn't actually. Champion at the back. And Crouch has to hold his ground and get it out somehow. Did well, Crouch.
It's also interesting too, the Swans have been inside 50 28 times, but Brisbane have been in 25. So obviously that would suggest, as we see great spoil there from Champ, that would suggest that Brisbane have had their opportunities, but the Swans have been getting numbers back.
White getting over Goods. It's a contest between two wonderful athletes, and then Fosdyke pretty happy to run it over the line. So Goods having a run with Fitzgerald basically playing as a full forward pocket. Armat and Barry deep as well with him. And Lynch the genuine full forward for the Lions. Goods and White. Gee, White sees. He improvises so cleverly. And well done, Champion. He was under the pump. Hart, Fosdyke, Champion, bustling, hustling, boundary throwing again. They just need a goal here, the Lions, before half-time.
It is a critical boundary throw in here. And as you said, interesting. Two great athletes, Adam Goods and Darryl White, contesting the ruck at this particular stage.
Saddington getting ready. So White again at the back. Bolton. And then Champion. First tackle by Fosdyke looked maybe a little bit high, but Champion brushes it away. It'll be a ball up. So the Swans doing well. They're holding up the Lions, who are desperate. Voss pushes forward with Creswell with him. But a loose man back there at the moment, the Swans. Ackermanis, they just can't get clear. White, very clever. McRae, and then Hart. This is where the loose man is. It's Maxfield. Can it get to him? The bounce was cruel. Lynch might take a couple with him here. Would he straighten up and have a shot? Gets back. He's got a bit on it, but he's blazed it a bit. He couldn't get the right angle on the ball then, could he?
Just didn't have any support from the midfielders coming past. There's one of the rules in footy is no U-turns. Well, that's what Alistair Lynch has had to do then, and he had to put on his boot quite hurriedly there. Just if he had had a teammate running past, running at goal, could have been a lot better result for the Brisbane Lions.
So Luff comes off and Sannington on deep into this second quarter. Stafford the target, good stretch, lovely mark. McDonald's done pretty well, but Stafford's been useful too. Not big possessions, but he's contested.
Yeah, there's been some great matchups, great one-on-ones all over the ground. Stafford, McDonald, Voss, Creswell, Dunkley, Lynch, White, Luff.
Centre wing, Fitzgerald front spot. At the back, McRae. He's been excellent in terms of getting up to lap, and another big posse getter to the line, a boundary throw-in. So Rodney Eade to Troy Luff.
Lappin's had it 16 times, but they have clamped him down. He had 12 in the first quarter, so he's only had 4 in this particular quarter.
Goods off the ground. I think Luffy's had a second crack with Rocket. I mean, without being ridiculous, that quick message from the coach when you've been dragged, does it sink in quickly?
Well, I mean, both are probably heated. The coach is probably heated because the player's done something wrong, and the player's also heated because he's been taken off. So I guess it's debatable, isn't it?
Ackermanis to White at half-back. Little kick to Voss, but cut off by Stafford.
Just on that point, I think the player knows when in most occasions, I think the player knows when he's done something wrong. Maybe it might be better just a message by the runner just as he's running past, just to let him know, hey, we need you to do this, and you just could have went for it a bit better.
It is interesting now. It is with the 4 interchange players. It is a real ploy for the coaches now. Whereas 10 years ago, I don't want to sound like an old timer, but you very rarely saw a player getting taken off the ground for a mistake because they simply couldn't afford the time. And it really has become involved as we see Leppitz.
Interesting body language, isn't it? Yeah, just sitting.
It's almost puzzling, isn't it, Bruce? What can we do, or what can I do to get back in this game? So it's certainly very, very interesting.
Dunkley, who looked to have hurt himself in the opening term. So he's off the ground. He's been the key defender for such a long time against Fosdyke for kicking in danger. Powers handball to Lambert, who's been on and off a bit, but he has played well. Lynch very deep and then bangs back to full forward. Malloy with strength, front spot. Saddington's got the job on Malloy. Bomford was good. Shawball, good kick in the end to touch.
Yeah, Alistair Lynch has actually moved out to centre half forward. There's Andrew Dunkley. Obviously he's cooled down during the break, and that's probably why his leg's blown up, but Alistair Lynch has moved out to centre half forward. Ryan Fitzgerald, Troy Luff and Ryan O'Keefe on the bench, and Andrew Shawball's gone with him, and Jared Malloy's gone to full forward with Jason Saddington.
Here is Lynch, gets it over the top. It's a good handball to Bolton. Centering kick to full forward. Malloy, the Lions need a big second half out of him. Cupido, Ackermanis, that's a great effort. Oh, he was unlucky. He showed tremendous acceleration.
Yeah, just very unlucky. A great finish. Just on Jared Malloy too, he's a real bustling type of player. He's not a great contested marker. He doesn't take a lot of marks. He really tries to bring the ball to the ground, as we saw on that occasion. And what we'll see is basically that. Crumbing players getting around the feet of Jared Malloy, and Jared Malloy bringing the ball to the ground.
In short, Creswell goes to Wharf. Pluggers just joined us down on the ground at half-time. Tony ran in a half marathon today and raised, how much was it for the Paralympics?
It ended up being 57,000, so it was a great effort.
Well done, Tony. They've got a huge applause, so that's a job well done. I don't reckon you'll be able to walk too well for a week, but you've done the job. Centre wing, by the way, Dunkley's on the interchange. It looks like he is injured from that first quarter. So Power, back, tracks. Free kick against Lambert, I think. This is a bad turnover for the Lions.
Yeah, the Brisbane Lions were away there, and Craig Lambert, I didn't see what happened, but obviously an undisciplined act, and wonder how Lee Matthews would react to that.
So Barry to the pocket, O'Loughlin goes to the front, ball to the back. Schwass has read this well. The bounce was pretty high. He gets a second crack, and well done there by Shattuck, and out of play. What about more on Dunkley, Nick?
It is
does it, Corky, Bruce? From that incident in the first quarter where he copped that knock and he looked to be okay, but the physio says that just during half-time he has cooled down and he is really struggling now.
Okay, so he might be out of business for the day. Shattuck to Lappin, Power and Crouch. Plugger, this is very similar conditions to the day you played against West Coast on Macintosh when you're honing in on the Coventry record. Where a day match, there's Dunkley. Gee, that's a big
that's
setup.
Pretty serious ice there, isn't it?
Where a day match turns into a night game in the second half.
Yeah, look, it's not very often that they play these games in Sydney. Usually it's a 12:40 or a 2:10 start, but I think it's a pretty good concept too.
Yeah, I like it.
And, day-night cricket match, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly right. And that certainly would be Andrew Dunkley for the day, because once you start icing them sorts of soft tissue injuries, Roosie, it'll really start to stiffen up now.
Yeah, look, if he hasn't come back on after half-time, there's certainly no way he'll reappear.
Schwartz has been good, hasn't he? He really has. He started forward early, but he's been a very good player. In short to Stevens, and then Stevens goes hard. Now Goods is the target. He's got him, I reckon. Well, he makes a difference, Goods, doesn't he? He's just got something extra.
Well, he's been terrific there today. We've seen just the end of the second quarter, he moved him onto the ball and he played a little bit in the ruck, but he's certainly found a niche at full forward today. He's kicked a couple, had a hand in a couple more, and certainly looks very dangerous.
Justin Leppitz just gave him a little bit too much space on that occasion and just couldn't track him down.
And kicks truly.
Well, he's got a goal in each of the turns. He's got one in the first, one in the second, one in the third, and he was very important in the first quarter to set up the break when Sydney made its first move.
Yeah, look, and also Wayne Swash was involved there too, just hitting the ball on the half-forward flank deep and squaring it up, I think, to John Stevens. And John Stevens, good kick from John Stevens, just kicking on the diagonal to the fat side of the ground. And Justin Leppitz just ran into Mickey O'Loughlin there, who created a pretty subtle type of shepherd for Adam Goods.
Well, this is a serious break now. 12 goals to 6. Goods with 3. White in the ruck, Stafford. The Lions are looking a little undermanned. Fosdyke, Brent Voss put the tackle on him. Look away handball by Barry, had a bit much on it, but Crouch was good enough, and Stevens did very well to come back into the centre and then go out wide to Bomford. They could nearly put the Lions away here, the Swans, so they can get a burst on. O'Loughlin on the end of it, he's got it between half forward and centre wing, and he's away, Mickey, and goes hard and high. Ball, Stafford's big fly, had 2, 3, 4 cracks, not paid. Lambert gets back, handball over the top, gets it to McRae, who was busy in the opening half, kicks to Ackermanis. It's a free kick. Well, the advantage is given. The free kick was to Picken against O'Loughlin, but the advantage was given down the ground, and Lynch has got it at centre wing. So Lynch, the leading Malloy, Shawball and Malloy. Malloy, he can't get rid of it. He's gone for holding it.
Great effort, Stewie Maxfield. And isn't he an important part of the Swans' makeup? They just seem so much better when he's running off the half-back or off the wing. He does create a lot of opportunities for the Swans forwards.
Matt Stevens, Shawball, well done though. That from Johnson has been pretty good. A bounce and a second. Lynch is all on his own, and surely Johnson will find him, and he does. And Lynch, well, he probably did the right thing in the end. There was no need. He's in a certain goal-kicking position. He's got Ackermanis on the line, but surely you'd go back and kick it.
Well, he shouldn't miss from here, Bruce, but I think he did have ample room and ample time just to turn around, run a couple of steps, and he'd be right on the goal line. Here, you just never know. We have seen a couple of players. A couple of weeks ago, Matthew Primus missed one from about the same area here, so although we wouldn't think Alistair Lynch should miss this one.
Well, this to match Goods for a goal in each of the 3 quarters so far. He's got it.
Didn't get in by much. What happened there too, just on the other side of the ground, the Swans were all hitting in the one direction. They were all pushing forward, and then all of a sudden, just watch there, well done there, but it's Chris Johnson just blocked the Shawball handball. We saw 3 Swans players in the top of that screen there, all running forward. Now, let me tell you, these are all their opponents, all going back towards the other way. So you can see what a turnover can cost you. Jason Saddington, who's now moved on to Alistair Lynch, and 3 goals, a pretty good return for Alistair Lynch today.
To just wonder if Dunkley is going to be missing the second half. You saw Saddington there a moment ago with Lynch. Some good news with Ben Cousins. He was interviewed after the game. It looks as if it's an ankle, not a knee, and he's even thinking about playing next week. So that's good news for one of the really fine players in the game. So a ball up, and that was an important result for West Coast today. Crouch. Well, this is the moment in the match, isn't it? Which way is it going to go? There's a 5-goal game. Can the Lions claw their way back, or will Sydney go on and have a big win?
Well, you don't want to see it certainly turn into a close game, especially as far as the Swans are concerned, Bruce. You'd like to see them go on with the job now. They've set up the win, and they look the goods. They really should go ahead and win this game convincingly.
Lappin's kick, Lynch, one hand, comes to Malloy, just his presence to Champion. This is an important kick, loads it up, it's a chance, it's a good goal, it's a goal.
And that's the way Jared Malloy does play. As I said earlier, he's a bustling type player. He just brings the ball to ground there. We saw Alistair Lynch make a good contest, get the ball to ground. Jared Malloy running onto it. And Richard Champion, who is a bit of a workhorse but can finish off his work. And a terrific finish from there, but also a key move for the Lions too is Darryl White has now gone into the ruck. Now, Beau McDonald I thought was pretty good in the first half, but obviously Lee Matthews just wants a bit more mobility around the ground, and that'll be an interesting matchup for Greg Stafford, Darryl White versus Greg Stafford.
Back to 4 goals. The Lions have kicked the last 2. They were 6 behind a couple of minutes ago. Stafford belts it out of the air to Matthews. Black put the tackle on. Matthews has kicked to centre half forward. Barry front spot. Well done, Picken. Just worked him under it. It's important that Barry finishes this match off today. He hasn't been doing that in the past. He's been brilliant early. Lynch was good. Strong hands not paid. White. Little handball to Bolton. Wider to Power. The kick to the pocket looks good off the boot to Malloy. That's a big shove from Shawball. Might have hurt himself, Malloy here.
It's an interesting one, that there. A lot of times that'll get paid as a 50 metres. 2 actions there. We see the action here of the mark, although it was pretty close, so good decision by the umpire.
It's a big kick from Malloy. It's right there, Stafford getting back and taking the mark. That was a very long kick. Get the feeling, Plugger, that Malloy's gritting his teeth here and saying, OK, I'm going to have an impact here in the second half.
Yeah, he's been taken off the ground a couple of times though, Bruce, and no player likes that to happen, so he really needs to fire up and have a big second half, and especially if Brisbane are going to win this game, he probably needs to kick 3 or 4 goals this second half of football.
Matt to O'Loughlin, and O'Loughlin wider. So Bomford at half back. Down the line, almost a half forward. Oh, gee, good fly Wharf from the back, White in the front, and he's going to play Wharf.
It's hard to jump over Darryl White too. He's a spring heel jack, so that's a terrific mark from Wayne Wharf.
Goods wants it wide, and that's a poor kick to Bolton. That's sloppy. And Bolton, and now Malloy's away. Luff's coming in hard. Malloy holds his ground, brings it to the front. Has Champion in a close look away handball. Champion decides to take Saddington on. Goes to Cupido. He loads it up, and with a long kick, beautiful kick to Lynch. And here's another goal coming up, and the Lions are back in business here. And whilst Dunkley's sitting it out, and I know Nick's got some more information on him, Lynch is about to kick his 4th goal. Nick, he's not coming back, obviously.
No, confirmation, Bruce, that that is his day well and truly gone. He's all iced up, and we won't be seeing Andrew Dunkley again.
Well, they might miss him, the Swans, before the end of this day.
And Bruce, they've turned a 6-goal deficit into a 3-goal deficit within about 6 minutes.
A goal for to Lynch.
Well, Alistair Lynch has moved out to centre half forward. He has been extremely lively in this 3rd quarter. He's had 5 possessions already in this quarter and kicked 2 goals. Richard Champions has a couple of key touches as well. And a big kick there from young Cupido. That's gone all the way. Might have gone through, but Alistair Lynch certainly did the right thing there by taking the mark on the line. And 4 goals to Alistair Lynch early in this 3rd quarter is a big return at this stage of the game.
Well, as Lynch keeps kicking goals, there's Dunkley. It's the 5th time this season Lynch has kicked 4 goals or more in a match. It's only his 9th game, so it's a good return. Bad luck for Dunkley. And now suddenly the Swans are under pressure again. This game's tightening, 12-6 to 9-6. Remember the burst that North Melbourne and the Kangaroos and Richmond and have done against the Swans this year. And now McRae to full forward, Lynch again. It just came off at Shawbull's head in the end. Bolton out wide, misses Saddington. McRae boundary throw in. I think the Swans have been outscored in every second half of the SCG this year.
Running players, Plugger, are really getting involved now for the Brisbane Lions. They're just getting numbers around the ball.
Yeah, basically they've just lifted their intensity. They were just probably a little bit slack on it, I guess, in the second quarter, and the Swans opened up quite a handy lead, but with a bit of hard work, they've certainly cut that deficit down, and they've cut it down by another goal too now.
Young Jupiter, that's a great goal.
Yeah, that was far too easy, though, from a Sydney Swans point of view. The defenders there, just Cubitt, a terrifically skilled player, but just cut a little bit of a swathe through about 3 Sydney Swans defenders on that case. Ball bounced, terrific take, and just watch it there, just the tackle just didn't stick. Gets back on the left foot and kicks truly. So he's making an impact in this third quarter without question.
Well, this is a terrific comeback. There's two sides to every story, isn't there?
Well, they're getting the ball,
but gee, the Lions have come.
Getting the ball out of the centre, Bruce, certainly. Darryl White undermanned in there, but he's jumping, and Voss has been very good. Getting the ball out of the middle, there he is again.
So Stafford won the tackle at Voss to Power. Power wide. Cupido really has made his mark here in his first game. Born in Cape Town, the first South African-born AFL player. Kicks to half-forward Lynch. Shawbull works him underneath McRae. He's been busy all day. That's a good kick with length. Malloy and White are lurking. Here's danger. White, little one. Ackermanis couldn't. Oh, gee. The percentages, it was so close to being perfect. And now Maxfield makes a bit of a mess of it. Gets it inboard to Bomford, who may go wide to Creswell. Doesn't. He won't want to get caught here, Bomford. He doesn't. He gets it to O'Keefe. He's just come on. Saddington running. Good kick, O'Keefe to Goods. Well, what an impact. Comes onto the ground and laces it out to Goods on the burst.
Well, there's a couple of blunders there, but they ended up cleaning it up all right. And O'Keefe, what a beautiful left foot. He's kicked at 45.
Gee, Darryl White to Ackermanis was just the crucial one, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't a crucial one. Ryan O'Keefe, the sprinklers have come on down one end of the ground there.
Wow.
You can't see it on the screen, but the sprinklers are on. And I don't know who's flicked that switch, Plugger, but they're back off again.
There we go.
So I think someone got a shower. Jared Malloy got a shower down there.
So the match is normally over by now, isn't it?
Someone's forgot to turn the timers off.
Have a look at that. The only reason this game started at 3:20 is because Plugger ran in the half marathon this morning and nobody was quite sure what time he was going to finish.
The poor people in the front row behind the goals there, and they got saturated.
Oh, well, serious matters, because they need a goal here, the Swans. The Brisbane Lions have been terrific. Will Goods keep his concentration? Well, he's missed, and he missed it badly.
It's the second time, Plugger, there's been a bit of a gap in proceedings. Alistair Lynch in the first quarter and Adam Goods there, and it's really seemed to have affected those two players.
Yeah, look, it's an amazing thing, you know. Players allowed just to go back and concentrate on what he's doing, keep his mind on the job, and then you see on a couple of occasions today that just the concentration's been broken, and important kicks for both clubs it was too at that stage, and
50
and bad misses.
Well, 50 against Stafford.
And this is what we talk about, the Swans just not quite being able to fulfil the 100 minutes of consistent, hard football. And it's just that 5, 10, 15 minutes of off time that they have, sides inevitably set the game up and win it, or peg back a deficit that really should have be a lot more.
That's a good mark by Lynch. Lynch is having a big impact now.
What a great kick too from Simon Black, though. There was a number of Sydney Swans players back there, all plugging up the gaps, including Greg Stafford, and he pinpointed that kick. Jason Sanning was right there. Alistair Lynch is looming as a real match winner at this stage.
Kicked 4. Gee, big turnaround. Is it Goods having a shot at one end? Stafford gives 50 away, comes down the ground, and Black finds Lynch. He's kicked pretty well today, Lynchy. Up and under, but looking straight. He's kicked 5, I think. And he's kicked 3 of them in the third quarter, and the Lions have now kicked 5 unanswered goals. It was 12 goals, 6 to 6-5 at one stage.
And how quickly things can turn. We saw a kick out there. So Adam Goods have a shot for goal, kick a point, but the kick out went straight up the middle. A 50-metre penalty against Greg Stafford to Simon Black, then took him down the other end of the ground, and a pinpoint pass to Alistair Lynch, who's kicked his 5th goal.
Well, the great champion of the past, Lee Matthews, premiership coach with Collingwood, and now Rocket who played in premierships with Lee at Hawthorn. Lee would be thinking, boy, we've got a chance here, a real chance. 12-7 to 11-6, and I reckon Rocket would be churning inside. O'Loughlin to Saddington, and suddenly that cleanness that we talked about in the first half. Seagulls everywhere here. Barry falls over, and the ball comes out to Bolton. It's all happening for the Lions now. Banging hard. Malloy launches almost at the back crouch. He's outnumbered. That's deliberate.
No.
He's pinged. He had to be. Well, they've taken their football brains off, some of them, haven't they? They've put another head on.
They've just stopped running too. The half forwards have stopped pushing up the ground. Their defenders have stopped running up, and the midfielders have stopped running. And on the other end of the scale, the Brisbane Lions are really running the football now. The midfielders are getting across in numbers, and this young kid has had a big impact in this quarter too.
He's given him a bit of life, hasn't he?
He can kick a footy. Well, kick it a long way.
It went over the grandstand, but it was in the wrong direction. So,
Can't I stop one? But one goal too. But well, Lee would be tuning inside, Lee Matthews. But he certainly can kick a long ball. That was the short one into Cupido. Well, the Swans have got a rule let off here. 12-7 to 11-7. And suddenly, it's important to be in front at three-quarter time for one team or the other, isn't it? I mean, moment, 5 minutes ago, I think everybody up here and probably the ground was thinking, well, at long last we're going to see Sydney go on with it. Not that we're barracking in any way, shape or form, but it's been a very good comeback here by Brisbane. They have got their tails up now, and their captain could goal on the run. Voss, it's a great looking kick. It's a behind in the end.
A free kick to Jared Crouch.
Playing with confidence, though, aren't they?
yeah, they really are. Michael Voss just maybe should have, it's a tough shot, but maybe should have nailed that too. Just a little bit of pressure. I think it was from John Stevens from behind, so it really probably prevented that goal.
Creswell short. Gee, I tell you what, the Lions would have been disappointed if he had nailed it. Malloy had given a free kick away in those circumstances in the goal square. So back to it's a one-goal game after the Swans led by 31 points at half-time. Creswell wide, now ball hard, and Marks, a pretty quiet ball.
Yeah, he's really got to get into the game. This is only his second possession, so he really needs to work his way into the game.
The other one was a missed goal, wasn't it, in the opening term? Just an up and under kick. Barry just shoved out of it and it fell into Stafford's arms at centre wing. Stafford lopes around onto the left and then kicks to centre half forward. O'Loughlin the big fly. White read it well. Goods, very well done. White and Goods, aren't they talents? Comes back inboard. Shattuck's handball to Bolton. Back to Black. Black's probing kick. Luff sets himself. O'Keefe front spot takes the mark. Didn't get much of a run last week, and you'd like to have an impact. He came onto the ground and put away a good pass to Goods. Lynch, good contest. Oh, Jason Bull, that was just a bit of a coat hanger.
Well, but the only way they can stop Alistair Lynch at the moment, the way he's playing.
A bit sloppy, Lynch. I know he was wanting to get it to Champion quickly. Well, he did in the end. And then Champion's kicked to full forward. Malloy's half a chance here. At the back, nobody there. Ackermanis, Luff. I tell you what, that's out on the... No, it's not. They were lucky, the Swans. Lions had that scum, didn't they?
That was another let-off because the Brisbane Lions had three players behind. There's the Alistair Lynch, not much in it from Jason Ball, but the Brisbane Lions had three players at the back of that pack, and I don't know how they messed that up, but they certainly... That was a crucial goal that went begging there.
Malloy's strength again, and then he bustles and hustles. Cupido and Luff, and it's through for a behind. And the biggest break of the match was early in this quarter. 6-goal game. They got to 37 points. Maxfield, Stafford trying to get rid of Champion, but again the Lions have got numbers everywhere. And then Black kicks to Cupido. Well done, O'Keefe. So two absolute rookies on one another. Boundary throwing.
Yeah, Ryan O'Keefe, he's done a couple of nice things. His first game was last week, and he's a pretty talented young kid, as is this fella on screen.
Left forward pocket. Champion. Won't give him a free away. The advantage to Goods. Runs his full measure and then kicks to half forward. Fitzgerald, that's a good grab. He should go on. He's got O'Loughlin. He's uncertain. He's in trouble. The handball to Armat. O'Loughlin's in the pocket. Hooks it back to full forward. It's going to be a hard ball to mark. Mickey O'Loughlin will kick a goal. And he does. Do you reckon they needed that?
Well, they needed that one all right. Probably about 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter, and Swans only in front after leading by 4 goals, only in front by 5 points. So things are starting to get a little bit desperate for the Swans. Well, they've got a little bit more breathing space now.
Yeah, just Ryan Fitzgerald probably should have given that first handball to Michael O'Loughlin, who was running in from 40 metres out. But in the end, there's Mickey O'Loughlin, who ran all the way to the goal square and kicked a much-needed goal for the Swans.
He's had 12 kicks and 5 handballs today, O'Loughlin. Been good. That's his first goal. It does give the Swans some respite, but the Lions have got more than a sniff now. They'll keep coming. 13-7 to 11-8. The next 5 minutes critical as we work into three-quarter time. White gets over the top, and then Black, who's been good in this term. McRae gets it from Power. Their running players are important. The kick not very good. Searching for it, O'Keefe. Luff at the back with a chance. He had to go short in the end, and Matthews through his legs. Goods, who's playing deep. He was the big forward in the early stages for the Swans. Kicks to centre wing. Fitzgerald, that's an important mark. He's got players everywhere. He just has to make the right call now. He's got them left, right and centre. He can't become confused. It's an up and under. Average old kick to be truthful. The Flyers come. Brett Voss was good to Shattuck out wide now. McRae just in front of Maxfield. McRae kicks towards the line. It won't go out. The chase is on. Power. Good hip and shoulder coming from the back from Crouch. Boundary throw in.
Just a little bit of inexperience from Ryan Fitzgerald. Took a fantastic mark, and that's the second one that is this quarter he's taken the last 2 or 3 minutes, but probably need to get the ball just on a bit quicker. Allowed the Brisbane Lions to push some defenders back, and we saw a bomb going into a pack of about 4 or 5 players, and the Lions then ran it out.
Voss and Schloss. Well, I don't think it's being too dramatic to say that particularly the Swans are playing for their season here in the next 35 minutes. This is it, really. I mean, lose today after leading by 6, and well, you wouldn't quite shut the door and throw the key away, but boy, you'd just about say that's it for 2000.
Yeah, no question. They are playing for their season today. There's no question about that.
Good tackle on Bolton. Gee, the Lions have stepped it up, and then Brett Voss gets involved to Johnson, who's had a good game. Bomford got a hand on it, not paid. Power, important touches here. Just 50-50 balls now, becoming critical, and the Lions are putting themselves in the box seat. It's got dark pretty quickly here. Fosdyke waiting to come on. So just forward of centre wing, and the Lions coming back hard. Goods to Creswell, who had a wonderful opening to this match. Johnson committed himself. That was very good play by Fitzgerald. A deft touch. Now Armat's got some opportunities here. He's gone long and hard to fall forward. Well done, Leppich in the end. Shattuck, they may get away. The tackle was very good from the Swans. Stevens, he hasn't wasted it. Maxfield loads it up and misses everything. They really should have done. Well, did he get a point? He might have scraped a point. There were chances, weren't there? Left, right and centre.
Just hard there because 2 left-footers. Johnny Stevens picked it up running onto his right foot and then gave it to Stuart Maxfield, who was a right-footer as well, and he had to swing back. Just needed a right-footer to get involved there, and it would have been a much easier shot at goal.
So that's what's in front of Leppich. He's going to go long. Geez, a bad kick, and Stafford's got it at 55. He's had a funny old match, Leppich. And then Stafford goes back to full forward. There's about 3 Swans. Fitzgerald, Matthews, the handball out to O'Loughlin. Can't find it. Got it to Armat. Swung a handball hoping. Voss got an important touch. O'Loughlin stops and props. Barry's a left footer. He hooks it back and he misses.
Well, they've had a couple of chances to increase their lead. Just failing to make the most of it.
I reckon Lee Matthews would like the siren to go now because they've made a terrific run. It looks as if the Swans have got just on top the last 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's swung a little bit back the Swans' way, hasn't it? But Leo Barry really just needed to kick that goal just to give him a bit more breathing space. And the Lions, as you said, Bruce, they'll continue to come back.
Leppich, Goods against White. Again, an important one. Ackermanis, Bomford's tackled. Ackermanis, half-legged in the end. Creswell's away. Stops, comes into the centre. Fosdyke was probably not a great handball. Fosdyke made a bit of a mess of it too, to be truthful, and a ball up.
Just going with it with one hand there, Nick Fosdyke should have wrapped both mitts around on that occasion. Very important to wrap them balls up like that.
There's Andrew Dunkley there, and I'm sure he'd love to be out involved in this game. And the captain of the club, it's disappointing from his point of view that he's sitting on the bench.
Goods won the tap to Creswell, to Goods. Getting across in front of him was Bolton. McRae's was an important touch, and then Leppich to Black on the burst. Could the Lions get the late goal in the quarter? Malloy will set himself. Lynch at the back. That was important by Luff. Advantage is paid. It was a free kick to the Swans. It's going to come back. I think that's a good call in the end because Barry was under the pump, and that's good umpiring.
That is great umpiring there. He did call play on, but terrific umpiring. Just have the courage to actually take that ball back, and obviously there was no advantage. Well done by the umpire there.
And Shawball's interesting here. He's got some options. He's just got to make the kick count, and he does to Luff at half back. So Luff playing down back after he kicked a couple early in the forward line. Goes for distance. Lions have got numbers. Malloy just can't quite get clean touches. Very good play by Black to push forward. Fitzgerald's contested well in this term. O'Keefe runs it over. Boundary throw in.
Yeah, Fitzgerald has had some pretty good, as is Ryan O'Keefe. The Brisbane Lions have been inside 15 times to 7 this quarter, so obviously that would indicate why they're kicking goals.
Saddington at the back. Gave Champion a push. When you get inexperienced players going for boundary throw-ins, this can happen.
Yeah, that would favour Brisbane Lions. Richard Champion against Jason Saddington in the ruck.
Lynch the target. Front spot. Shawball did well. Is it going to be paid? No play on. Good call. Creswell got it from Schwass. Back to Luff. Fitzgerald and Kennedy. Kennedy and Fitzgerald. And it'll be a boundary throw, and that'll be it. And I reckon the Lions have given themselves a real chance here. They were gone at the start of this third quarter with that early goal against them. And Rocket's been in this situation a lot of times. So the Lions, who kicked 5 unanswered goals in the heart of that term. The early goal to the Swans and then the late goal to the Swans. But really, Sydney had, I think, 3 good chances to get another goal or 2 in front. And the 31-point margin has been reduced to 13. Remember that Sydney has been beaten by 9 points or less on 4 occasions at the SCG this year. And at the end of the day, it's the close matches that can add up so importantly towards the end of the season.
Alistair Lynch was particularly important in that quarter, kicking 3 goals. And Simon Black and Luke Powell really got in the game, as did Michael Voss. So it really swung the Brisbane Lions' way, and it's going to be a great last quarter, that's for sure.
It's all set up, isn't it? For a beauty. It's 87-74. Well, that's a scrag on McRae against Fosdyke. Free kick. Voss's kick to the space. Power onto it. Brisbane playing confidently. Then Power to the pocket. Cupido. There was a lot of faith in Cupido to go there in his first game. Shawball runs it over the line. Boundary throw in. Don't want to get caught cold, the Swans here, do they? First couple of minutes.
Do you kick that to a leading forward into a pocket plug, or do you ignore that fella going to the pocket?
Look, it's a bit hard. Sometimes you have to lead to the pocket, but look, you've just got to try and open up the goal mouth if you can and make sure your leads are, the majority of your leads are up the middle of the ground, because, you know, if you do take the mark, it's obviously a lot easier to turn around and kick a goal straight out in front than what it is from on the angle. But look, at times you just have to leave the pocket. It's the only place where there's any space.
Wharf and Maxwood there with Ball and Dunkley, who won't come back. So the Lions would love a quick one here, and they can ill afford the Swans to get it. So we're sitting on the knife edge a bit. Power did well. Voss, and that came off Creswell's boot on the fall. He's very unlucky, and it's a Brisbane free kick, and Ackerman is quick to grab it. Nobody on the mark. He can go away here. I know it's a tight pocket, but he's been able to get away and then go to, it's a mark to Malloy, so it's a bit slack at the back here.
Yeah, look, that's just inexcusable for the Sydney Swans. There wasn't a fella on Ackermanis mark allowing him to play on and have a shot for goal. And then also we see Jared Malloy taking a mark completely unattended on the goal line.
He'll try and run around, you think, just at the last moment, as he's done, to hook it back. He likes it, I think it's a goal. Malloy gets the imperative opening goal of the final term, and the Lions are within 7 points. It's 12-8 to 13-9.
Well, that was disgraceful for the Sydney Swans there. Absolutely disgraceful. Luke Powell, who's been terrific, and particularly all day in the second half, third quarter. Darren Creswell, a bit unlucky there, but this is inexcusable. Jason Ackermanis, no one on the mark, and look at that. Jared Malloy marking unopposed on the goal line.
Even if it's going to be close, you've still got to make a contest just in case that does happen.
Yeah, look, that's inexcusable. That's a terrible goal that the Sydney Swans allowed there, and Brisbane are right in this game.
Creswell, so the Lions within 7 points. Oh,
fantastic.
Yeah, strong mark by O'Loughlin.
Now he needs to go back and kick this.
Yeah, certainly does. The momentum is really going the Brisbane Lions' way. They've got that early goal, which they needed. I'm sure Gary O'Donnell, who Nick spoke to at three-quarter time, that would have been their plan. Get that first early one. But the Swans just getting that ball out of the middle of the ground, which is very critical here at the SCG.
Well, as Plugger said, this is a monster kick, really. This is a huge one. 45 out. Fading. Well, all the signs were good early, weren't they? From a Swans point of view. And right now, if you're forced to have a bet, gee, it's an even money game. The Lions are right back in this. That looked out.
It's nearly out of bounds too, and so's that.
Finally called.
I don't know how he missed that. He was standing right over the top of the football. But certainly, I think, Bruce, if you were a betting man, not that I am, but certainly you'd put your money on the Brisbane Lions at this stage. They're just looking a little bit more lively, and the Swans really need to lift.
Fitzgerald, Kennedy to centre wing, Ackermanis in a contest. I think he's given a free kick away against to Bomford. Saddington coming over the top, so Bomford's got it at centre wing. Saddington short. Bomford decides to go long. It's a dreadful kick, and unfortunately for the Lions, Picken couldn't hold it. It was one of those floaters that wasn't easy. Shattuck's little give. Well done, Kennedy, to push forward to Champion, who was important in that third quarter, to Brett Voss, back to McRae, who's been very good all day. He's played deeper than normal. Little kick inside, Shawball, that's courage to cut it off. Poor kick really by McRae.
That's a terrible kick, isn't it? Like, you just want to be going long in that situation.
Fosdyke to Matthews on his left foot to half forward. O'Loughlin at the back was Shattuck. O'Loughlin gets it back to Schwass. He needs a big last quarter. He's been very good in the second and third terms, particularly the second, I should say. Hooks it back. Fitzgerald, big fly. A couple of grabs. Well done, White at the back. Hands and knees are all over him in the end. Bolton worked off it. O'Keefe's in there. Black, who had a sensational third quarter, belts it away. It'll be a tricky old ball. It was a tricky old ball. It's beaten a couple of them. Luffy has a second crack. Might have got leg. Not paid. Left foot. Swans have got numbers. Saddington looks up. Probably gave it to the wrong man, but Crouch takes them on. Gets to 50. Loads it up. Gives it a ride. Won't make it. Kennedy at the back. It's a point. I'm getting excited.
Well done by Kennedy back there too, though. We saw down the other end Jared Malloy taking uncontested mark. The Brisbane Lions, well done Kennedy, just punching the ball through at the right time. Just a percentage play.
Leppich loads it up. He's kicked it a long way, almost to centre wing. Oh, Fitzgerald. He's in good form, isn't he? He hasn't made a difference yet, but he's in good form.
He's marking the ball cleanly, Plugger, which he sort of wasn't doing from about rounds 4 to 10.
Yeah, much improved effort today.
Good's the target, front spot, no crummers for the Swans, and rolling through for a behind. So it's a 10-point game, a 2-kick game really. Leppich, who's going long at the moment, most of his kickings.
This is a critical kicking there. He is just summing the situation up there. Will I go short? No. Probably the long option in this case. Umpire's blowing the whistle and he is going to go long. He's going short. So really that doesn't give them anything there, and it really takes out that other side of the ground.
So Picken gets it to centre wing. Lappin, big first half. Sort of set up here for O'Loughlin, Schwass and Creswell. I mean, they're the three really outstanding, I guess, ball getters and players for the Swans. And the three of them have probably got to have big last quarters now.
Yeah, I guess the other alternative, the Lions will be looking to Voss and Lynch and Lappin and these sort of guys to really get them over the line too.
Fosdyke was a good take and gives this a run. It won't get there. Johnson getting back through for a behind. Yes, that whole midfield running creative battle could decide this match now.
Yeah, sometimes it's also which team is mentally fresher rather than physically. You know, it's hard mentally to run out games as it is physically, so the team that really thinks they can win at this stage is going to have a huge advantage.
Long ball, White got a fisted. Fosdyke's got a couple of touches, importantly. Stafford, well, Barry was the target, I felt, but Creswell won it in the end. The quick give by Matthews to Bomb for the kick to Armat, got him. Might be 5 metres too far out. Plugger, tell us, you know.
Yeah, he's a little bit too far out from there. He is a good kick of the ball, but I don't like his chances from that far out, Bruce. He's got to be kicking from probably just over the 50 mark, so he looks pretty confident himself, though. He looks like he's going to go back and have a shot.
Comes in for the hook. She's kicked it well. He has kicked it superbly for distance and hit the post. They've kicked a lot of points in a row here. I think they were 13-8, the Swans, up to 13-14.
Yeah, they haven't been easy shots though, have they? They've probably been more rushed, and that long one from outside, Chris Johnson knocked one through before, so probably hasn't been the scoring options that the scoreboard would suggest, but they probably need to kick one soon if they're going to continue to get the ball down that end of the ground.
Gee, this is a lazy kick by Lepage, but Lappin's onto it. Neat kick inside to McRae, to Champion. Schwass will fancy himself. They'll be disappointed in the Lions. And Schwass goes too short in the end of Stafford. He's about 6'9" in the old to get down. Bolton has been a bit quieter today. Boundary throw-in. A couple of misses there by both clubs.
Yeah, what's happening is Brisbane Lions are pushing all their players up for the kick-out, so if they do break that second line of the Swans, the second line of their zone, there's no one for them to kick it to up forward because all their players are down behind the ball.
Good fist by White, and Ackermanis running onto it. 60 metres out, floating one right to the goal square. It was a poor kick. O'Keefe, left footer, forced to go towards the line. Now he has to chase hard. Cupido running hard with Malloy. They've got numbers. Geez, clean. Cupido just picked that up, gets it back to Malloy. Malloy 70 metres out, goes in short power.
I know it's a bit hard on the kid, but O'Keefe's kick then should have found the boundary and gone over the boundary, and that caused a 2-on-1 contest there, and Brisbane have brought the ball back inboard, and now we see Luke Power. He's usually a reasonably pretty good shot for a goal, this young fella, and this is very important after Swans have peppered the goals and kicked about 4 points in a row. It would be disheartening if he goes back and kicks this.
But a big blow for the Lions, and he likes it. He's kicked his second. So Power's got two, and after the Swans peppered and peppered and peppered, Lions clean have had 2 shots for goal in the last quarter. The Swans have had 5, and the Lions have kicked 2 goals.
Full credit to Brisbane because they were down by 6 goals and they've fought back. They've just worked hard, and now they only find themselves a goal behind. So certainly well in this game.
Some confusion for the Swans. They've only had 3 in the centre square, but in the end Matthews has come in. Well, 2 straight goals to 5 behinds in this quarter tells a tale, and now Lapham kicks to half forward. O'Keefe belting this time towards the line and finding it in a boundary throw in.
Darryl White's gone forward, trying to, I guess, put the pressure on the Sydney Swans. Bo McDonald's gone back into the ruck, and it's a pretty formidable forward line with Darryl White, Alistair Lynch and Jared Malloy down there, so it's going to be tough for these Sydney Swans defenders.
Wrap it up, and then White, Schwass got a hand on it. Brett Voss's kick across the face. Malloy's very strong. Luff will have to go to the line, and it'll be a boundary throw. He couldn't have been pinged for it deliberate because he was going for the points.
And Voss probably just had a little bit more time than he thought there, kicked it around his body. That's where the voice is so important, someone telling him he's clear, and he could have probably straightened up and had a drop punt for goal.
Stafford lays it down. McDonald comes through like a rover. and misses. And it's a 5-point game.
Well, a critical kick out here. Wayne Swash, one of the leaders, as we see the Brisbane Lion bench, one of the Swans leaders getting back to take this kick out. And here he is. What's in front of him there? We probably want to try and get it long. And Jude Bolton's out wide. Kicks to Jason Saddington.
5 points the margin after the Swans led by 37 points in the third quarter. Saddington very short to Creswell. Just got to be careful here. Again short. This won't hurt the Lions, will it, at this stage? They'll be quite happy for the Swans to keep going short because one turnover will make a big difference. Matthews long to centre wing. Oh, big fly from Fitzgerald. Nothing paid. Pickett forcing forward. Looked as if he was held on to. No free kick. Bolton there with Black and a boundary throw in at centre wing. Haven't led the Lions since Power kicked that goal at the start of the match. So Swans have been in front practically for the whole game, and yet the Lions are one kick away from wresting the lead off them. There's a lot of time left. McDonald wins it. The handball by Black. Champion. Creswell. Rob the old one to half forward. The bounce could be important. O'Loughlin. Still with O'Loughlin. He's 50 out. He's drawing. Matt's a bit of a sharpshooter. He's in the pocket. It's a kick across the face and Goods couldn't get to it. The Swans have it in the left forward pocket.
Just a bit of a nothing kick there from Robbie Armand. Probably having a shot for goal. And probably really did need to have a shot from goal. They're the goals that Robbie could kick. It's a hard angle from there, but it's gone out of bounds.
Pickett at the back. It lands to Creswell. Back to Barry. And Barry is hooked into the pocket. Is it a mark? What's happened? It's a mark. Is it...
Mickey O'Loughlin,
yep.
Bruce.
O'Loughlin, that's a great grab. It was a poor kick by Barry, actually. He missed one in the third quarter that was crucial. Now, O'Loughlin, that was a very good grab. What do you think? Check side plugger?
Oh, he's going to have to from there, Bruce. I'm expecting to maybe open his angle up a little bit.
So Champion off the ground.
Hard kick, though.
Cupido on.
Oh, he's equal to it, I think, is he? Close.
1-3 to O'Loughlin.
They all went up behind the goals, didn't they, those Swans supporters? Mickey O'Loughlin's really presented himself in this last quarter, and I think he said to himself, if the Swans are going to win this game, well, I'm the one that's going to have to do it. And good mark there, but just such a tight angle. Richard Champion looks like he hurt himself in that incident over on the wing earlier on, and he's in a little bit of pain there. These kick-outs are now crucial, though, and Leppich has got to really pick out the option. The last time he did look a little bit lazy in his kick-out. The umpire blowing him on now, and he'll just get it out of that zone.
It's a long kick. It's almost to centre wing. McDonald belts it at the back. Stafford hooks it back to centre half forward. Johnson sits and waits and then takes one on and then swings the handball effectively to Kennedy. Lynch is short for him. Kennedy with a run, a bounce, and then pops it to centre half forward, wanting some marking power. Malloy, huge fly. Powers read at best. Left footer, hooks it back. Clever kick to Cupido. Got him.
Well, we've seen him miss an early one, a very important one in the third quarter. Interesting, he's on the right side now for a left footer, so...
Luke Power's been very influential in this last quarter, just some really critical touches. Just the class of the young fella there, running towards the boundary to be able to turn around and screw it back into the real dangerous area for Cupido.
Well, he's made a real impact in his opening game, hasn't he? Came in for Chris Scott and puts it through for a second goal. Scores are level. Didn't think I'd be saying that today in the third quarter.
Certainly not. Once they were 6 goals up, you would think that then that was enough for Uzi and that they would be able to go on and have a comfortable win, a good win. But as we've seen time and time again, they just lapse and they just let the other sides get back into it.
Yeah, Brisbane Lions really lifted their work rate though, didn't they, in the third quarter, and Cupido's been good. Kennedy coming off on the blood rule, and 2 goals to Cupido.
So Kennedy with the blood rule. Well, this is a grandstand finish. Said earlier that the Swans are basically playing for everything here. The attendance today, 19,789. They've bit of a reflection of how well this team has been going this year in terms of their poor performances at home, 2 wins from 7 games only. So there's so much riding now for them, but also for the Lions, who were brilliant last year and have suffered from a very bad draw this year of having to play away. And they are showing so much spirit here and looking like winners. Ackermanis to Lappin. Lappin with so much time. Not a good kick to fall forward. Luff belts away. Chance for Lynch has been terrific. Back to Black. Black sizes it up, kicks it and misses for a behind, but they're in front.
The key players are just getting hold of the football now, aren't they? Ackermanis, Power, Black, Lappin, who had a quiet second and third after a blistering first quarter, and Jude Bolton coming off the ground, who's had 11 possessions and probably just hasn't quite had the impact that he had the last couple of weeks, but he's certainly given 100% as he always does.
So Matthews hard and wide to centre, to half-back. I think O'Keefe was a target there, along with Luff. Back in board. Short one from Crouch is okay to Schwartz. To Matthews. Ackermanis was a good hip and shoulder. Barry's been a good flyer, but nothing happening. Black's been superb after half-time. Lappin important. Power. Ruzi's talked about his influence, particularly early and late. The handball, he's able to get it to wide. It could be dangerous. Voss the target. O'Keefe cuts it off. So a bit of luck there. Now Schwartz has got a chance here. He's got a man clear. Creswell's away at centre wing. He could bounce. He decides not to, and he kicks it rather badly up and under. Stafford, who had to go to the back for the Swans, to be truthful. Stafford's right foot around the body. And that was all on his own.
He certainly was, Bruce. A very bad decision for Greg Stafford there. Robbie Armett was all by himself, running into an open goal. And there's Kennedy just getting patched up at the moment. But they're the things that cost you at the end of the day, Plugger, don't they? Just a bad decision from Greg Stafford there.
Just a bad decision, and interesting to see that Brisbane have kicked 8 of the last 9 goals.
It's a reflection of how well they played, isn't it? They've refused to give it away, and now they find themselves dead set level after that Stafford behind. He's actually done some things today, Stafford, he'd be disappointed with. Just a couple of wrong calls at certain times. He certainly tried his heart out. Didn't fly for the Malloy mark. That one there, 50-metre penalty earlier, which cost them a goal. But he needs to forget all that, I guess. But not his absolute best day, that's for sure. Voss, clever, but no room in the end. Well, it gets back to something you talked about earlier, Paul, and that's the mental application and just how much they want it from this point in. I mean, it's almost a restart. It's dead set level when we've got 8.5 minutes to go.
Yeah, look, I think both teams are obviously physically tired, but I just think mentally at the moment, it's the team that thinks they're going to be able to win, and Brisbane look as though they're that team at this stage.
Bolton's kick, someone's hanging on, and the free kicks to the Swans. Didn't look a lot in it. Shawbull's got it. Turnovers at this stage of a game become absolutely critical, don't they? They're the ones you actually remember in the end. Shawbull comes wide, very wide. Was it touched? He had Saddington short in the corridor.
Just no talk there, Bruce. His players around him should be telling him where he's got to go, where he's got space, if there's any leads on. But just no talk.
Coaches work overtime in a situation like this. They're just trying to find an edge, aren't they? Both Lee Matthews and Rodney Eade trying to find just something that might give them the win.
I guess this is where coaching is probably at its most difficult, isn't it? The players are on the ground now, the coaches are in the coaching box. Really, there's not a lot a coach can do. It's up to the players at the moment. Really, I think it just boils down to which team really wants to win this game the most.
Goods goes early. Stevens overran it. Black. Well done, Fosdyke, just to get a hand on it. And then Stevens. Every play is important. Barry pushes forward. Creswell will hack it, and he does. Gets to centre half forward. Well done, Kennedy. Attacked it hard. And up and under. Goods, McDonald, Ackermanis. Front spot. McDonald's got 3 to beat. The hip and shoulders. Well, Fosdyke didn't get it far enough, and the Lions are going to do well here. Ackermanis cut off to Stevens. Goes hard and long. Stafford's height could be a factor. Leppich worked him underneath. Conceded behind. Gee, wouldn't have done that pick in about 7 minutes' time, would he?
Yeah, but well, I think it was the smart play.
Of course, it was smart, but you wouldn't want him to come back and launch, you would have.
Leppich loads it up. The Swans have got a chance here because Bolton's made the move, but on McRae read it best. Good tackle from Bolton. Swans may get out of it. The handball was indiscriminate. Black's been so good to McRae off the side a bit. O'Keefe searching for it, can't quite find it. Pushing him, Cupido, 2 blokes at the plate, 3 games between them. Crouch comes in and it ricochets away for a boundary throw in. Well, Nick, it's really tense and exciting up here.
It is, and the Swans just looking for a little bit of zip there earlier. They sent Stewie Maxfield back on, but he's cramping up continually, so Ryan O'Keefe's just gone back on for him, and you can see Stewie there on the bike.
So that'll be Stewie, you'd reckon, for the day, and here is O'Keefe out of play. Well, I wonder if the next goal wins it. I just don't think there's going to be a lot of goals kicked.
It doesn't appear so at this point. It's a real struggle, and I said before that the team that wants to win it the most wins. I think both teams really seem to want it to win at the moment, and maybe, and I don't like to say, maybe a bit of luck's going to come into it.
McDonald's kick to half forward, Power terrific to Ackermanis, 50 out, getting back is Luffy, searching for it, boundary throw in.
Just should have been a little bit better there. Ackermanis on the break. Should have either, well, made a score, at least got a score, or hit a leading forward. Just a wasted opportunity again.
So do the Swans concede a point at this stage? There's still plenty of time. It's in a very dangerous position. Luff towards the line. He had to keep it in. It was a good kick by Luff. There was very little to do, and it's a good result for the Swans to get it outside the 50.
That was a terrific kick from Troy Luff, because he was on his left foot. He was getting pushed to the boundary line. In that case, what you really could see in 2 minds, will I run it over? Fantastic kick not to kick it out of bounds on the full.
Had to kick it softly, didn't he, in the end? But at the same time, get something on it. The Swans have kicked 8 points in the last quarter to 3-2. White gets back to centre half forward. Stevens can't take it. Bomford back to Creswell. Crux, he's in trouble. And Ackermanis, he's down low. No free kick. It was a good decision. He wobbles it and Shawbles. No, it's a behind. Scores a level again.
Well, that's a great passage of play. Just players all around the football there. Sydney Swans getting it first. Good tackle on Creswell. He got a handball out. Ackermanis shrugged it. So there's really 36 players out there having a real dip at the moment.
It's one of those games, if you're really nervous and you're at home, you probably want to go for a walk for 8 minutes and come back and get someone to tell you what happened. But don't go away, whatever you do.
Particularly if you're a parent or related to one of the players, I can tell that's when it's very hard to be a relative or a friend of a person actually playing the game.
Or Rocket Eats' cat that's sitting at home waiting. Well, it's in the right spot for the Lions. It's sort of almost any score at the moment. It's a big one, isn't it? Gets it to half-back, Kennedy, and also Stafford boundary throw in.
Yeah, well done by Kennedy just to get it over the boundary. Well, that's been a fascinating duel too, Kennedy versus Fitzgerald, Fitzgerald's been good, but Kennedy's had 9 possessions and created a bit of run off that half-back line.
Well, the clock's starting to become reasonably important in a low-scoring last quarter. Players are very tired. It will be harder to break a line here than it's been for most of the day. As Richard Champion, we saw Andrew Dunkley earlier, who had a huge amount of ice on his quad. There's Richard Champion, who's, I reckon, did pretty well in that third quarter when they needed him. Half forward for the Lions. Stafford with his height. Good tap to Creswell. White was good in close. Black was outstanding to Lappin. Lappin 48 metres out. It's got the legs. It's got the carry. Has it kicked the goal? I think he has. Sensational play by Nigel Lappin.
Yeah, he's one of those Brisbane Lion players with the silky smooth skills. He's had 23 possessions, had 12 in the first quarter, was shut down in the second and third quarters. But look at this. You can't teach that. Just a really smart decision to balk around. I think it was Jude Bolton. Just sell him a bit of a dummy. And then Lappin, great finish from about 40 metres out to put the Brisbane Lions in front by 6 points.
Well, Plugger told us they've now kicked 9 of the last 10 goals, the Lions. The Swans have kicked 8 straight points in this term. And the Lions lead by a goal. It's a bit of a slap by Power, but they've gone forward. Another one here would break the Swans back, you'd think. Lynch, Shawball, Saddington backtracking did well. Bomford got it for Luff. That's a terrible handball to Shawball. Power to close the match. Well, that's also an important behind.
That is a very important point. Obviously, they would have preferred a goal, but it just gives them a little bit of breathing room. Takes the margin to 7 points.
Well, the Swans have got to start taking some risks now from the kick-outs. He's just got to go straight down the middle, as he's done.
Stafford the target, and young McDonald's got over the top to mark it. White's on his own.
Who's on him?
So White in the heart of the centre square. Powers wide. Brett Voss. Power wider still. Got Power. Now he's a long kick, Power. He's committed now. He's a very long kick. That is a sensational goal. What a kick from the pocket. They're going to win it.
That is a sensational goal, Bruce. No question about that. The young fella, he has been outstanding today. That's about his 23rd possession, and, well, I don't know. That's 3 goals to Luke Power as well. Look at this here. Jared Crouch was coming at him at 1,000,000 miles an hour. He walked around him like he wasn't even there, and then kicked from a left-footer plugger from that position. Great finish.
Oh, great composure for a young bloke. He's been instrumental today. He's had a great game. And a little bit slack on the Swans' defence there. Jared Crouch probably should have picked him up even before he was passed out to Luke Power then. And a great goal from Luke Power, and put the Lions now.
Well, seemingly home.
In front.
It would take a miracle, to be truthful, from this point. They deserve this. Lappin, Schwass, Fosdyke and Voss. The experienced Lions players here, you would think, would be able to win it from now. Stevens to Schwass to Creswell to fall forward. They just need a mark, somebody to do it. O'Loughlin's a chance. He's in the pocket. He's still a chance. He'll kick a goal. Yes, he will. Mickey's giving them some hope. Just a little hope.
Well, Darren Creswell and Michael O'Loughlin plugger are 2 guys that have really stood up in this last quarter, and Creswell's had 35 possessions, Mickey O'Loughlin's had 23, but they've done their best to keep the Swans in the game.
Well, they certainly have, and once again, both of them involved again in that passage of play, and all of a sudden, quick reply from the Swans, and they're certainly not out of it yet.
Well, they've gone from needing a miracle to a whole lot of luck in 1 minute, haven't they? But look at Lee really getting animated here, Lee Matthews. But the Lions have still got it's a big break, isn't it, at this point? 7 points, 2 kicks.
Well, there hasn't been a lot of scoring in this last quarter, has it? So you would think it's a winning break, but there's still 3 minutes plus to go. So if the Swans can get it out of the middle here with Greg Stafford.
So every centre break, every 50-50, every moment now becomes vital. Ackermanis stops and props and takes the lot of the Swans on, and then kicks to Cupido. O'Keefe the stretch. Powers the danger. Powers a danger man. He's 40 out. He hooks it back. It was touched. Well done, Luff, and Malloy came in. I don't think Power can believe it.
Geez, it was nip and tuck down there on the line plugger.
Must have been close then.
Yeah, it looked from here that it might have gone through, but well done to Troy Luff if he obviously got a fingernail to it.
I think it was Jared Malloy that actually touched it.
Handball in board, came from Black to White to fall forward. He's paid it to Malloy with strength.
I think it was Malloy that actually touched that ball last time, so Brisbane needs to repay Luke Power, I guess you'd call it, and go back and slot this one. If he does, well, then you would think that the task might be a little bit out of the Swans' hands.
So Jared Malloy, who's had a strange old day.
Has he missed it? He's missed that, hasn't he? Tell you, all the Brisbane Lions players ran up there to Beau McDonald too. When that kick out, Ben Matthews kicked it straight up the middle, as he should do, but Beau McDonald came in with a huge fist and knocked it back about 20 yards, and the Lions backman ran from everywhere to congratulate him, and Jared Malloy could have put the game away right there, but he's just kept the Sydney Swans in it, and Swatter needs to kick a big torb up the middle.
And he's gone long and hard. Stafford, he didn't get it probably as far as he wanted. Saddington, good handball. Barry has been quiet in the final term. Gets it to centre half forward. Fitzgerald's attack was impressive. Can he turn his man? That's a wonderful tackle by Lepage. Stevens takes Lepage on. Lepage gets a little hand to him. It gets to centre half forward. Goods. Well, I thought he might have got one there. He's a bit stiff. He certainly copped one. The ball at half forward. Taken by Crouch. Hooking back to full forward. O'Loughlin, magnificent mark. Sensational stuff.
Is that, I think there's that picking on him.
Yes.
Right? Lee Matthews had Shattuck and Picken on Mickey O'Loughlin all day, and gee, for the Brisbane Lions point of view, you wouldn't like that to come and bite them.
And he's kicked a third goal, and we have a grandstand finish coming up here. Gee, Jared Malloy's kick at the other end suddenly becomes so important.
Well, Mickey O'Loughlin, 16 kicks, 8 handballs and 3 goals, but I just can't help but think, Plugger, just those young kids, I know they're going to be great players, but Picken and Shattuck have played on O'Loughlin all day, and he's a terrific player. It's a big ask for the young kids.
It's a huge ask, and especially when he's on song, and today he's been on song. He's had a great game, and if the Swans can get up from here, it'll be thank you very much to Michael O'Loughlin.
Stafford's just going to belt this forward from the Sydney Swans point of view.
Huge stakes for the Lions here, and also for the Swans. Voss, handball out wide. A goal either way wins the game for sure now. Handball in board, cut off there by Saddington. Black gets back. He's been very good to Brett Voss, to White. That's okay. It's at half forward. Remember, the Swans have lost 4 games by 9 points or less at this ground this year and trail by 3 at the moment. White's kick is a very good one to the pocket. Lynch didn't take the mark, but they've got it deep and they've got it forward. The players don't know, but there's about a minute to go. The ball handballed out to Shawbull, can't keep it in. Boundary throw in. The Swans have got 1 chance now.
Yeah, they do. They really need. The Swans need to take it away here. The Brisbane Lions just want to bottle it up. Captain Andrew Dunkley looking on. The Lions will just want to knock this ball. Bo McDonald want to hit it straight to the boundary line, and Greg Stafford will want to hit it forward.
Wide over the top, Greswell to Saddington. It's forced to go defensively and then hook it back. Stevens front spot, outnumbered. Ball to be won. Stevens up and under. Still to be won. Called play on. Voss took it and then very cleverly gave it to White. Gives it to Ackermanis. Ackermanis to Black. Black up and under, but it's a set up forward. Malloy front spot. A bouncing ball. Can somebody get a breakaway? Barry besieged. Great tackling. Fosdyke comes out and hooks it wide. There's very little time. Voss running hard towards the pocket. Deliberately puts it out.
Now that's got to be deliberate. I mean, the ridiculous thing is if a defender did that, it'd be a deliberate. But when someone in the midfield does it, they don't call it.
Halfback, Stafford to Fosdyke, and trying to get it out. Swash to Creswell. Creswell towards the centre wing, and the Lions have done it. Look at Lee Matthews. That is a very big win. Well,
Rodney Heath.
Yeah, the glory and the pain, really. The highs and the lows, the agony and the ecstasy. Call it what you want. Rocket can't believe it. For the 5th time this year, they've been beaten by 9 points or less.
And Brisbane kicked 10 of the last 12 goals, and we have seen that before in the last few weeks, haven't we, Bruce? It's I don't know what it is, but it's very disappointing, I can assure you.
Well, for Brisbane, it was a famous victory, and for the Swans, it was a disastrous loss.